Life's a ride, so let's make it count. Cherish every moment, that's what it's about. Tune in, together we're building our groove. Every beat, every laugh, we're ready to move. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave the troubles behind. This podcast is gold, the treasure you'll find. With every word, we'll light up your day. Join the conversation, let's laugh all the way. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave your troubles behind. This podcast is gold, a treasure you'll find. Life's a ride, so let's make.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Cafe. Good to see you. Great to have you here today. Thank you for joining us. How is everybody today? I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all having a great Friday. End of the week for all you hard workers out there. Should be the last day of the week for you, hopefully. And we get to kick off the weekend together. For sure. It's great to see you all, guys. Thank you for joining us. 20 peeps in the house. We got 10 likes, guys. See if you can hit that like button on your way through the door and make those match if you could. I'd appreciate that so very much. Please and thank you. Mama Bear's not here with us today. She's busy. Always got stuff going on. Real life is a real thing, folks, and it does get in the way of this stuff on a regular basis. So she wants to be here, but she just can't do it. So she's here in spirit. Just tell you that much. She might pop into the chat here and there. So thank you guys for you stuck with me. Sorry about that, but here we are. We'll make it work. Come on in, grab a seat, get comfortable, grab your cup of joe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to you all. Whoever you are and wherever you are, I hope it's good for you because it's great to be here with you guys. I do appreciate you all so very much, guys. Please make sure to share this out. Let everybody know what we're doing in here today, that we're hanging out. I get to hang out with this amazing group of peeps in this community. You guys make my day go all the way, the right way. I love it. If I don't do this, I don't have a good day. So understand that. And that's all because of y'all. Thank you to my blue crew for being here. Appreciate you all so very much. I couldn't, wouldn't, or shouldn't ever do this or try to do this without them because it just wouldn't work out the same way, guys. Just so you know. Just so you know, they are some amazing peeps. And again, it takes a lot to run this community. It is the most amazing community on YouTube because you are the beautiful people. Thank you guys again for joining us today. Looks like Eddie's in the house this morning, afternoon now. One maiden, not good to see you. And of course, Deg Burn, Johnny Gobble's Dead Floozy Mama's in the house with us. Thank you so much for joining us. Miss Tandy got a day off today, and she's joining us early today. I appreciate you so much. Alicia J, hello to you. Great to see you again today. The sassy one, Miss Cassie's in the house. Great to see you, Cass. Great to see you. Have you here today? No. Miss Trish Crow, great to see you today. Thank you for joining us. TGIF. Mark Schumann, great to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. Absolutely, bud. No worries. Let's see here. Let's see. Paula Fitzhenry, always an honor to have you here and all of your positivity. I appreciate you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. Anybody else that's not in the chat popping in here and you're just out there kind of lurking, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you just as much. Just because we don't see you doesn't mean we don't love you. So thank you for being here. Well, that's a hell of a way to wake up. Speaking of which, where's the other half? The tomboy. What's she doing this morning? Afternoon. Let's see here. 1 second here. Right, all right. Sad to say, we're going to be losing part of our family for a week here today. That's going to be sad. I will miss her, but she probably will pop in here anyway. SRBBBBBB is going on vacation for a week. So we're going to miss her while she's not in here. But I think she'll be here anyway. She can't stay away too long. She'll just be tuning in from the beach. That's all. That's the only difference we'll have here. You keep your grapes and your sewing machine. I'll never put another one of those in my mouth again, ever. That was disgusting. Disgusting. Ooh. That I can still taste it. Talking about it, I can taste it. That was the sourest thing I ever put in my face, ever. Let's see. Thank you so much for that, Dagburn. Appreciate you so much, ma'am. Mama Bear got a clip. What are you talking about? Where'd you see it at? Are you serious? And it never fails. Hold on, everyone, please, and thank All right, everybody. I'm sorry about that. My wife is she's having a breakdown, a complete total breakdown. Today is my son's a senior. He's having his senior prom tonight. He's graduating. His last day of school forever is May 5th. He's graduating on May 18th, and she is having an absolute total meltdown over this. And I get it. I'm sorry I left you guys hanging so long. Whenever she's upset or something is bugging her, I'm the one she calls because I'm the one that calms her down. So that's what that was all about. Um, so yeah, she's having a bad time with this. She had a little breakdown last night because it hit her, and then this is our last one. We have 7, and he's the baby. So yes, it's a little rough. It's been bugging me too, but it's hard to believe. I swear it was just a couple years ago. He was still just a little guy running around being crazy, but it's one of them things. I don't know. It's hard to believe, like I said, and it's been a struggle because of his being on the spectrum and stuff like that. It was a struggle to get him through school because it was so hard, and we swore, if nothing else, that we were going to get this kid graduated with a diploma. That was our main goal with all the issues, and it's coming down to it. And it was a struggle. Anybody that has a child that's on the spectrum or has any kind of issues like this, you absolutely know what I'm talking about. It was a fight in the very beginning. I still remember first grade fighting and realizing we had a teacher. He had a teacher that loved him and knew, and thank God for her, because we'd never probably got to this point without her, that he needed a 504 and an IEP because of his issues. And it was a fight. He didn't get it. I think he got it by the end of second grade is when he finally got it. Thank God for her. And yes, he's going to prom tonight. You'll probably see him later, more than likely. At least some of you might. But yeah, he's going. I can't believe this is it. It's hard to believe this is it. Him and a couple of his friends are going stag. He's not dating anybody right now, so I don't know, you guys. It's rough. It is. She doesn't understand it. When she calls me and she's because I can't handle hearing her cry. It's one of my things. I just can't. It breaks me in half. So she calls me and I have to be strong for her, obviously. You know what I mean? And that's why she calls me. So I talk her through it, this and that. And when I hang the phone up, that's when I go into it. So it's one of them things. I get it, Sassy. I get it. It's rough. It is rough. It really is. So hard to watch it happen. It just seems like it's all gone. I can remember when he was just um oh, it's okay, Alicia. Thank you. This is all part of it. I can remember this like it was just yesterday. If you guys can see it. There we go, maybe. And that's when he was 3, I think. And it's just like it was just a couple months ago. You know what I mean? And now he's a grown man. He's about to turn 19, I think. 19. He'll be 19 May 17th. It's crazy. It is crazy. It really is. But it was a wild ride, that's for sure. I'll say that much. It really was. He's something else, but he's a great kid. Great kid. So, let's see, is there anybody else in here I missed? SRBBBBB. There she is. Good to see you. We got 31 peeps in here, 17 likes. You guys are amazing. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Some of you guys have got to see him grow a little bit. Been here for a while. You've watched him flourish into the big boy he is now. I think I got everybody. I don't think I missed anyone. See Materna, hello. I came to say hi to you. Well, I'm glad you did. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it. So like today, guys, we're just doing our regular morning show. I was so slammed yesterday. And then I had to help with some stuff for the prom thing. I didn't get time to look into to finish up with my cold case that I wanted to do. So we'll be back with that Monday. My apologies for anybody that might have been looking forward to it. If you were, so sorry. Let's see. Peaky in the house and Licity J. Hey, great to see you guys today. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, he did. He changed a lot in a short period of time. Elizabeth Wagner, welcome. Good morning, afternoon. Good to see you today. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Appreciate you. 2031 peeps in the house. 19 likes. We're getting there. Thank you guys for that. Thanks, Liz. Appreciate you. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. Exactly where I was going to say that. Got something on Delphi I want to review with you guys and some other stuff we're going to look into as well. Again, thank you guys for being here. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're all having a great one. Man, what a stressful. It's come all angles, guys. All angles. Again, thank you, Seema. I appreciate you very much. Yvette Clifton, hello and welcome. Good to see you there. Everybody in here is familiar with the Delphi situation, right? We've all, a lot of us have followed it, and a lot of us are uncomfortable with how it turned out. Excuse me, of course. Michelle After Dark, for those of you that are not familiar with her, we follow some of her stuff on a regular basis. She put something out that I thought was kind of interesting in regards. Hey, Miss Cassie just dropped 5 memberships to the cafe. Thank you for that. Looks like Yvette picked one up. Love True Crime. Who Even Am I? I love that name. Rise Hamilton and Tosh Coley. Tosh Coley or Coley. Congratulations, guys. Welcome to the sauce. That's 5 new meatballs. Thank you, Miss Cassie. That was so generous, dear. Appreciate that. Please note, too, guys, anybody that donates these memberships and gifts these memberships, anybody that donates to the channel via Venmo, PayPal, or the Cash App, anybody that drops super chats, super stickers, we don't ever expect you guys to come in and do that. But please understand, from the heart, it really means a lot, and we do appreciate it. It does keep this channel running. If I didn't have that stuff, I couldn't, guys, because YouTubers only get paid once a month. And anything we make, even on the super chats and super stickers, comes the next month. So this stuff that anybody were to donate now or whatever, anyway, it keeps my channel going. It pays the YouTube, it pays the StreamYard, the YouTube premium stuff, the internet. It pays for all that. So otherwise, I wouldn't have this channel if it wasn't for that stuff. So God bless you guys that does that, and thank you so very much. Do I take layaway? What the heck are you talking about, Tandy? And yes, welcome to the sauce, all you guys. I appreciate you guys so very much. And I love this whole community. God bless you guys. I really do love you guys, mostly and mainly. Without all of that other stuff that we just talked about, being here and coming in here with me on a regular basis with my team, the family we got here, guys, that means everything to me in the entire world. Supporting the channel, supporting me myself, and being here every day. That's what matters to me. That's the main and most thing that grabs my heart every day. And I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you, SRB. Again, something else, anybody that does anything with that, I appreciate that so very much. The Amazon wish list there. Never ever expected, of course, but it is so very much appreciated. It's full of things that help me to do this here, and of course the coffee that keeps me going. So anybody that does that, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And it does help with the equipment when things break or don't work. That's what we use that for. So God bless, guys. Again, anybody that uses that, thank you so much. We do spend a lot of time together because we're a family, guys. That's how I see it. That's how I feel about it. I hope everybody else does too, but we really are. It's the best, most amazing community in the entire realm of YouTube, as far as I'm concerned. I've been through many. This is the best. I'm so very proud of this community. I absolutely love everybody in this community. And I would never want to be anywhere else. That's a fact. There's no two ways about it. I ain't trying to get all mushy. I'm just being real with you guys. That's facts to me. The team that I have, we put together, I love these people. Like, they truly are my family. Every single one of them. I absolutely would do anything for them. I'd stand in front of a bus for one of them if I had to. That's how much I care about these people. That's a fact. And each one of them cares about me the same. I don't know about standing in front of a bus, but I know they care about me, and that's what matters. And we all together care about all of you that come into this community just as much, guys. I hope you guys know that. And we appreciate every one of you that comes in here every single day to hang out with us. So thank you again for that. All right. So anybody that's familiar with Delphi, I saw this, Mama Bear threw this at me. Even though she's not here, she's still always doing stuff in here. So, and I thought this was quite interesting. There was an interview done. Well, the doctor that did the autopsies for Abby and Libby in the Delphi situation spoke out and about certain injuries and things like that. And it's kind of an interesting scenario for those of you that are familiar with Delphi. I thought you guys would be interested to hear this. So we're going to check this out and review this. Again, this is from Michelle After Dark. Like I said, we follow quite a bit of her stuff, depending on what it is. So if you guys could pop on over to Michelle's place, say hi, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, if you know, it's up to you what you want to do, but at least hit the like button over there. I would appreciate it, as would she, I'm sure. She puts out some really good stuff. Let me see here. Give me 1 minute here and we'll get this up and going. Excuse me. Okay, and I did drop her link in the chat, I believe. Let me make sure. Yep, there it is. All right. That's right. Amazing Blue Crew. They named themselves. I'm glad they chose that name because there was people throwing names up there like Dago's Dolls and this, and I'm like, no. We're all meatballs, but they named themselves. I wanted them to be able to do that. So, all right, y'all. 31 peeps in the house. Thank you guys again. As you pop through that door, if you would please hit the like button. Let's get this show on the road. See what we got going on today. Let me know if the audio is okay, guys. I do the best I can. Sometimes it's low. You might have to do headphones, but hopefully it's all right. Michelle's usually pretty decently loud.
To another video. It is Friday morning, the 2nd of May. We're going to Indiana today. I'm going to resume covering.
Welcome, Miss Wisdom, another one of the amazing Blue Crewers. Love you, dear. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate that very much.
Of the Delphi case. Been a few days since I covered Delphi because I'm so heavily invested in the injustice going on at the moment in Massachusetts, which is the Karen Reed case, that I've kind of put Delphi on a back burner. But I'm back because there's some new stuff that's come out. So in this video, let's discuss just one of those new things. Really interesting, an interview with the medical examiner, the doctor who did Abby and Libby's autopsies, the one who initially told the defense that there could be 2 weapons, and then at the trial said, oh, he believed the murder weapon was a box cutter. Shall we discuss? Yeah, let's. Take it away, Andy.
It's time for you guys to start being journalists.
Before an angry Andrew Baldwin left the courthouse, 13 News overheard him speaking to Richard Allen's wife, saying, "It ain't over. The The world's watching. The world sees what's going on.
Okay, so Dr. Kaur, the medical examiner who did Abby and Libby's autopsy, was brought in by someone at the scene, saw the horror of Abby and Libby lying there dead with their throats slit, and knew that Carroll County wasn't going to be able to handle this. So they brought in a medical examiner from Terre Haute, like 100 miles away, who's got the experience and the know-how to do this kind of thing properly. He's been on a podcast. I had no idea that this existed until I watched Criminality's live stream. So I'm going to play a little bit of this from Criminality's live stream, and it's
Welcome,
definitely
Aurora.
worth a listen to the whole thing. I'm concentrating on the injuries and the box cutter. So let's go.
Doctor, real quick, let me jump in here real quick. When you talk about the wounds here, for so many people, this was a case, this was a trial they were interested in, but they were relying on outside sources to give them information because no cameras were in this courtroom. Remind everybody, if you can, what the wounds were on these young ladies.
Well, we had what we call sharp force injuries to the neck on both young ladies. Now, in forensics, we break down things by blunt force injuries, sharp force injuries, penetrating gunshot type injuries, things of that type. And in sharp force, there's also three subcategories. There are incised wounds, there are stab wounds, and there are what are called chop wounds, which are kind of with a heavier sharp bladed instrument like machete or something like that. And these were somewhat unusual in the fact that they were not really classic for either stab or incised because they were fairly short, but in areas, sometimes they looked a little bit more, at least in the young lady that had multiple wounds.
The young lady with multiple wounds was Libby. Abby just had one injury to her neck. So very different. Libby's was frenzied, like multiple wounds, slashes, various depths, whereas Abby's was a very controlled death. And remember, Abby was found clothed with some items of Libby's clothing on as well as her own, and Libby was completely naked.
One of the young ladies had a single sharp force injury to her neck, whereas the other had multiples. And again, these wounds didn't fit what I normally see in the multiple sharp force injuries I've seen over my career. Stab wounds tend to be deep, but not necessarily long, whereas incised wounds are more slashing sort of things that are not necessarily very deep. And these were kind of neither fish nor fowl in that regard. They were kind of a mixed bag.
Okay, so he goes on to talk about his deposition with the defense, what he thought originally, and then the I don't know how to say it, enlightenment that he had, the eureka moment he had in his workshop when he saw a box cutter and thought, oh, that's it. That's what caused the injuries. And of course, we have Richard Allen during his period of psychosis between April and June of 2023. In one of his 60-some confessions, said that he used a box cutter. Surely this would be details that only the killer would know. If the medical examiner is prepared to say that he believes the injuries were caused by a box cutter, then the jury is going to think, well, how would Richard Allen know that if he wasn't a killer? So this had to be pretty convincing evidence. Now, the box cutter comment was to, I believe, the warden, rather than the one that the state relied on, which was the confession to Dr. Monica Waller on the 3rd of May. But Rick Allen said a whole bunch of stuff. He said he shot the girls, as well as murdering his entire family, including the grandchildren that he doesn't have, and starting World War III and cheating on his cigarette. It was all a bunch of stuff he said. But why would he say box cutter if he had absolutely no clue how Abby and Libby died? Could it be that box cutter was put in his head just like the white van was put in his head? Could it be that? Because we know the confession that Nick McClelland relied on, the one where Rick Allen said he was originally just going to rape the girls, but then he got scared when Brad Webber's white van went by between 2:27 and 2:30. That's when he forced them through the woods, across the creek, up the other side.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
Just in case, folks.
Side, and then he stabbed them in the neck. So I've talked a lot on this channel about why that confession just isn't factually based. We know that the van, absolutely objectively, based on surveillance video, did not pass by between 2:27 and 2:30. It was seen on the Sandefurs surveillance camera at 2:44. So would have passed under the bridge like 2:45, 2:46. And we know Brad Webber got home around 2:50. Well, he interacted with his phone at home at 2:50, pinged off a tower at 2:50. So we know when Brad Webber got home. We know it wasn't between 2:27 and 2:30. We know this from the motion to correct errors. But there's something else we learned from the motion to correct errors, which I'll come on to in a minute. But the other reason why Rick's confession is not factually based, but the jury couldn't put it together, was because Libby's phone data doesn't support it. Now, I've talked a lot in previous videos about that, so I'm not going to reopen that one, but go back and look at some of my previous videos on Libby's phone data. I've got quite a few. All right, back to this podcast here.
Fans try to discredit you when you were on the stand, or was it more of a fact, more like?
I mean, I had to give a deposition in this case last February. Long before the trial actually started up in the fall. During the course of a deposition, you're testifying under oath, and at the time I was asked about, what I thought in terms of a weapon, and I really had to tell them at the time, well, it's serrated light, but I can't be more precise.
Yeah.
And of course, they document that. Well, during the course of last summer, because you don't shut your mind off to thinking about this thing, because I know the case is coming up, it's going to be a big deal. I was out in my garage, happened to glance over at my workbench, and there on one of the pegboards, I saw a box knife hanging there that had a very almost identical pattern as what I described as those serrated like marks on the side as a thumb grip. And I looked at that and said, son of a gun, that would explain exactly what we're dealing with, box knife. And that would fit the depth of the wounds we were dealing with. It would fit the contused edges of the wounds.
I love it how criminality has this overlay. Elvis feels saying wrong.
Everything would fit with the box knife. So I communicated that with the prosecution next time I met with them. A week or so after I testified, I was following the trial in the media, and I came across an article about one of the other witnesses who happened to be the warden at one of the state prisons where he was held for a time prior to trial. And the warden was one of the many people that are accused confessed to, in addition to confessing to family, confessing to other cellmates, and multiple other people, some of which were recorded. He confessed to this one warden, and what he told the warden was he'd used a box knife and then thrown it in a dumpster. Had that information been forwarded to me at some point, it would have kind of verified we had essentially two people who independently had information suggesting box knife.
Okay. His epiphany, his eureka moment came in his workshop when he saw a box cutter, a box knife, he calls it. And the thumb grip would have been the thing that would give some of the injuries. But already known to the prosecution was Rick Allen's confession about a box cutter. So you might say, well, Rick Allen's confession came first because that was in April, and Dr. Core only had his epiphany moment in the summer. Okay, but it's not the first time that box cutter has ever been brought up in this case.
Hopefully convinced the jury that box knife is something I thought could have been done, and then somebody is actually confessed to that says he admitted using a box knife.
Yes.
And you can't write that sort of thing off as coincidence.
And you believe there's only one assailant, right?
Yeah, I mean, part of the thing that.
Go ahead, Sleuthy.
I'm just saying, no, can't you write it off as coincidence because someone in 2017 said it was a box knife?
Yeah, absolutely, they did. Who was that?
Bingo.
It was Ron Logan. We learn from the motion to correct errors that on May 15th, 2017, so just 3 months after the murders, Reese Davis contacted the tip line. Reese Davis being an inmate at Newcastle Department of Corrections, where Ron Logan was serving out his sentence. Ron Logan was sent back to prison after the murders. He was out on probation.
Just for those of you that may not know, in my opinion, that is our bridge guy. Vocally, physically, visually, that is our bridge guy. Okay. And I have other thoughts too, but that to me is truly who should have been held accountable for many things in this. Okay. Just saying.
And he got sent back for probation violation. And he confessed to Reese Davis. Defendant's Exhibit 4A is attested to by Matthew Hoffman in Defendant's Exhibit 4. It's a redacted copy of a tip from the Orion database of tips dated May 15th, 2017. In the tip, which the state has always had, Ron Logan is alleged to have confessed to Reese Davis sometime before May 15th, 2017, when they were in prison together, and that he had killed Libby and Abby. The material part of Ron Logan's confession to Reese Davis, as it appears in Exhibit 4A, is reproduced below. Logan confessed to Reese step by step of killing the 2 girls. Logan told Reese how he burnt his clothes in a fire pit and where it was located. He used box cutters and struggled with one of the girls and thought drops of blood from his nose ended up on her clothes. Reese also advised that he killed Libby, the older girl, first. So he encountered Abby and Libby on or near the bridge. We know from his phone data, from the search warrant from March 17th, 2017, just a month after the murders, the FBI, their investigation into Ron Logan, showed that Logan's phone wasn't in Lafayette at the aquarium store where he said he was during the period that the girls were abducted.
There wasn't.
We know that was a lie. But his phone at 2:09, the exact time the girls would have been on the bridge, his phone was in the vicinity of the bridge. We know he encountered the girls and asked them if they wanted to go to his house to see his rabbits and his horses. Abby wanted to. They started to walk there. Libby got nervous, started to argue. There was an altercation ensued. Libby punched Ron Logan in the nose, causing a bleed. Maybe why he took Libby's clothes off, the ones that he thought had his blood on. Maybe he just threw them in the creek. Why he didn't take them and burn them, I've no idea, but it's just a theory. And we know that he's got a wicked temper, happened to have a box cutter in his pocket, stab Libby in the neck, frenzied attack. Libby dies there. That's how the phone ends up there. Just my speculation. So the phone ends up not moving after 2:32. He takes Abby with him, but he has to dispose of Abby because she's witnessed all this. So how long did Abby stay alive?
Welcome,
Was
Terry.
Abby brought back later and killed? It'd be easier to bring her back alive than get her down the hill. I don't know though. but Abby had to be gotten rid of. But Abby's death was arguably calm. It was just a dispatch. But Ron Logan said he used a box cutter. The state knew that from May 2017 that a box cutter may have been involved. So how easy would it have been, once Rick Allen's in his psychotic state, to drip feed information to him, to put box cutter in his head, because they know box cutter's already been mentioned, and then maybe have a word with the medical examiner. Doesn't have to be a coincidence that Rick Allen in his psychotic state mentioned box cutter, and then the medical examiner changes what he originally thought and said, Eureka, it's a box cutter. All that could have been orchestrated by the state, knowing full well that there was information about a box cutter out there. Why was Ron Logan protected is the question. Because there's way more evidence against Ron Logan than there ever has been against Rick Allen. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
Quite interesting, guys. Quite interesting. And I'm telling you, that theory in itself, every bit of that fits as far as I'm concerned. No worries, Brandy. Thank you for joining us, hon. Be careful out there. Let me see here. 1 minute, guys. Sorry. Yeah, that what she just said there, all of that makes perfect sense to me. Absolute. I had another. If I can find it. Maybe not. Okay. Anyway, so I thought that was quite interesting in regards, and we're going to be going back here soon. I'm going to be doing a full throttle review of Delphi again, just because it's bothering me that this man is sitting in prison, and in my heart, my feelings, and my opinion, this man is absolutely innocent of this crime completely. I don't feel that that Richard Allen had anything to do with this at all. Zero involvement whatsoever. And this is the worst, one of the worst railroading jobs I've ever seen in my life. Seems to be becoming a thing, folks. And this is just horrible that his wife and his daughter are living their life without this man for no reason whatsoever. None. Other than the fact that the real people or persons that did this, because I think there's more than one. I definitely think that Ron Logan is one of them. Got out of it. There's so many people that could have been presented to the jury. So many people that could have been presented in court to this, and they didn't do it. They wouldn't do it. The judge should be ashamed of herself. Judge Francis Gall, you should be ashamed of yourself for the way that you portrayed yourself over this court and over this hearing. It's insane to me. I just don't understand it, but it is what it is. Can't change it right now. Hopefully the appeal process does, for his sake and his family's sake. I don't even know what to say, guys. It's just sad to me. So anyway, onward and upward. Another wild story I was going to present to you guys today. I thought this was pretty interesting. Again, thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate you. And here we go. Let me know if the audio is okay. Yes, good luck, Brady. Be careful, and hopefully you get it all done without the storms banging over your head.
News Channel 8's Lenny Supal with details.
One city councilman putting pressure on his.
News Channel 8's Lenny Supal with details.
One city councilman putting pressure on his peers. He doesn't believe city leaders have done anything to address the unmarked graves on site, an issue he says they've been skirting for years. As discussions about the top of Tropicana Field evolve, there's renewed conversation about findings beneath the surface. Over the years, radar searches detected unmarked burial sites under the parking lot. Councilman Corey Givens Jr. passionate about ensuring St. Pete's history is not forgotten.
It's very personal to me. I have a great-great-grandfather who may or may not be buried out here. So I feel connected to my ancestors. As a descendant, this matters to me. Their lives matter.
The site where the trop sits, a point of contention for decades. Givens says there were once 3 cemeteries that existed under the lots. Detailed surveys over the last 5 years discovered unmarked graves on the property. A recent study found even more.
Not too far behind me is where they've identified at least 7 to 10 possible graves. And that's disturbing because when I come out here, I feel connected to my past. And I wonder sometimes what the ancestors would think.
Now Givens putting more pressure on city leaders.
We were erased. We should do a better job of acknowledging our history. A historic marker or a plaque, that's not enough.
Givens went on to say he wants more discussions with descendants about putting a historical marker in place. Meanwhile, City Council will have more conversations with the mayor as well as the research group that conducted the survey on Tuesday. Reporting from St. Pete, Lenny Supal, 8 on your side.
Tell me that's not crazy, you guys. I mean, I know it's not a big scenario, but like, it's crazy that they built this stadium over top of 3 cemeteries. And I don't like that to begin with, okay? When they buy land that is already known to be a cemetery or was a cemetery, that's so disgusting to me that they disturb these people and move their graves. Sometimes they don't even do that. They just build over top of it, which is what I think happened here. That is beyond disrespectful and ignorant to me. And think about how the families would feel. That's so sad. They'd rather have a sports stadium than leaving a resting place for the dead. Leave it be. It's so, I can't, guys. Anyway, it's beyond disrespectful. Agreed, Alicia. What if there was somebody's, child or their parents? I don't, all of it, any of it. I don't care. It just bugs the hell out of me. I don't know. Crazy as hell, though. Anyway, I just thought I really wanted to bring that, show it to you guys because I thought it was really insane. So that's all I'm saying. All right. I covered the case, Eddie. I haven't done anything with the trial as of yet, but I did cover the case initially when Tyree Nichols, when it went down. Right, Trish. See, that's horrible. Welcome, Trish. Good to see you today. And Captain Jenks, good to see you, brother. Oh, sorry, bud. A lot of people have it happen. Sorry about that, Cap. Yeah, I've covered his case. I haven't looked into the trial or anything yet. I've just been busy with a bunch of other stuff, but I have covered him. A really sad situation. Disgusting, actually, if you ask. Yeah, it's beyond sickening. I mean, to see what happened, I'll tell you what got me is it gave me chills, and it literally brought like a tear to my eye. When this man was screaming for his mother down the road, that broke me. It really did. Really broke me. It was rough. It was hard to watch. It was hard to put out, to preview, to talk about, just to see it happen. There was no reason. None at all. It was insane. I will probably throw clips in here and there for updates on it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a very sad and disgusting situation. Really is. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, you guys. I'm kind of glad you brought that up, Eddie. Let's see. Give you guys some updates on it since we're talking about it real quick. Hang on. Good stuff, buddy.
Justice for Tyreek! Justice for Tyreek! Justice for Tyreek! Justice for Tyreek!
The blood is not only on the hands of these officers, the blood is on the hands of the Memphis Police Department. His family continues to pray that the jury will receive all of the evidence and that they will render justice for Tyreek.
Our hope is that they're found guilty and to show the world that my son was a good person and he wasn't the criminal that they're trying to make him out to be. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
This morning, opening statements begin in the trial of 3 former Memphis police officers charged in the murder of Tyre Nichols. This comes 2 years after that horrific traffic stop that was January of 2023. The jury out of Hamilton County has been seated, and we're bringing you live team coverage all morning long. Fox 13 anchor Ernie Freeman joining us live downtown, bringing us updates this morning. And Ernie, we've covered this case since the very beginning. A lot of people have been waiting for this trial. What is the tone like out there this Monday morning?
Well, you might get the impression that there would be a whole lot of people here anticipating this trial happening here in Shelby County in Memphis, but not the case. But we can tell you in the last probably 90 seconds, one of the defendants, Justin Smith, walked into the courtroom. So he's here with his attorney. We don't know if that means anything in particular, but he is here at 7 o'clock. This case set to go a couple of hours from now. So Justin Smith is here in the courtroom right now. But we have been following this, Val, like you said, for the last couple of years. And what we want to do right now is just take a look back at how this all started on that night in January of 2023.
January 7th, 2023. It started with a traffic stop.
Thank you, Wisdom.
Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
I'm going to tell you guys right up front, this is rough. If they don't censor this, it's very rough. So please be warned. This was hard to watch. So just a heads up, guys.
Do anything.
Members of Memphis Police Department's Scorpion Unit and unmarked cars pull over 29-year-old Tyre Nichols in the middle of Ross Road.
Get on the ground!
Body camera video shows officers pull him out of the car and try to use a stun gun on him. Nichols keeps asking why.
Stop! I'm not doing it.
Eventually, he pulls away and runs. Officers catch him just a couple doors down from his Hickory Hill home.
And all he was trying to do was get home to his mother. It's insane, folks. You know, the man, I'm telling you, did absolutely nothing wrong. And this is what they did to him. I am so sick and tired of seeing this because this man is a black man. They automatically just, it's okay. And other people, in community people, they just look the other direction. It's enough. I am so fucking sick of seeing this. This is a human being, a living, breathing human being with a heart like the rest of us. I'm sick of it.
Skycop camera and their body cameras capture the beating. After being pepper sprayed repeatedly, battered, bloodied, Nichols finally taken into custody. Tyre Nichols would die from his injuries 3 days later. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation was called to handle this case just a few hours after it began. A week after Nichols' death, a federal investigation started. 2 days later, January 20th,
Exactly,
the
Elite.
Memphis Police Department fired 5 officers: Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin.
And as much as I am about peace and positivity and all that, I'm going to tell you right now, firing these idiots is nowhere near. They should have put these two, they should have put these men in prison. These aren't men. These are cowards. They should have put them in prison and let them be beat to death just like he was. I'm anymore with the way crimes are, guys. I'm telling you, I'm almost always anymore at the level of eye for an eye. Truly. An eye for an eye. You want to do this? You should have the same damn thing done to you. Okay? I know that sounds insane, but honest to God, something's got to stop this. And this was black on black, folks. That's what blows my mind. This was not white cops on a black man or black cops on a white man or none of that bullshit. Black on black. They don't give a shit. And that's what makes me sick to my stomach. It's so crazy. Absolutely crazy to me.
Desmond Mills and Justin Smith. The following week, they were indicted on murder charges, and the footage of what happened that night was released to the public.
It's enough video captured for anybody to get the gist of the level of aggression and physical abuse that occurred during this encounter.
A peaceful protest the night of that video release blocked the I-55 bridge for hours. The investigation continued, and within a month of the initial encounter, a 6th MPD officer was fired. A Memphis fire lieutenant and 2 EMTs were fired for not helping Nichols quickly enough. 2 Shelby County deputies who responded that night, they were suspended. On February 2nd, Tyree Nichols was laid to rest, his funeral attended by hundreds, including then Vice President Kamala Harris.
Mrs. Wells, Mr. Wells, you have been extraordinary in terms of your strength, your courage, and your grace.
The Nichols family hired civil rights attorney Ben Crump, and in April of 2023, they sued the city of Memphis, the police chief C.J. Davis, and those fired officers, as well as fire department employees.
It is our mission to make it financially unsustainable for these police oppression.
Nope, he sure didn't, Kent. Sure didn't. Nothing. Okay, the man did nothing wrong.
Units to unjustly kill black people.
This unit was put together purposely. It was called the Scorpion Unit to go out and do these types of things. And the leader of the unit made it okay. This is not the first time it happened. This is just, I think, the only recorded time that somebody died from what they did. Okay. And of course, very quickly after this all went down, that unit was disbanded. The person that ran it, I believe, was put in another, somewhere else in the city. And this is too much. It is too much. And it happens way too often. Yep. And that's where it comes to pass. They deny that has anything to do with it. What I'm about to show you that Alicia put in here. But I absolutely do believe that's what it was. That he was dating someone involved with one of the officers. So this is how they got back at him. See, Wisdom says it was debunked, but I still think there's something there with that. There's no reason for this, guys. There was no reason. Nothing. None of this had to happen. And there was one white officer involved. I was wrong about that. My apologies. But still, the brunt of what happened came from those officers there in that video we saw. It's just disgusting to me. Disgusting.
In July of 2023, the Justice Department announced that it was launching a pattern or practice investigation into the Memphis Police Department based in part on the Tyree Nichols case. The feds examined whether police violated civil rights of citizens and eventually returned a report detailing dozens of examples of those violations.
The misconduct that we observe offends the dignity of Memphis residents. It creates stigma and trauma.
In September of 2023, the 5 former officers were indicted for violating Nichols' civil rights. Former Officer Desmond Mills was the first to take a plea deal in November of 2023. Emmett Martin also took a deal in August of 2024, just weeks before the federal trial. Both testified against the other 3, Bean, Haley, and Smith. A federal jury found Bean and Smith guilty of witness tampering. Haley was found guilty of excessive force and several other counts. All 5 are awaiting sentencing.
And as we said here at the top of this broadcast, Justin Smith, one of the defendants who will be standing trial here, has made his way into 201 Poplar. Let's make note of this. Tyre Nichols was 29 years old when he died. He never saw his 30th birthday. He would have been 31 years old today. This is a tragic story. It made international news and put Memphis in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. We're going to have coverage, continuing coverage on our YouTube channel. You can watch the entire trial there. We'll have continuing team coverage updates all day long. Val, it's a big day. Tyre Nichols' family hoping justice for Tyre. That's what they've been talking about for 2 years now.
2 years. And Ernie, you've covered many trials throughout your career. Based on that, what do you expect to happen as we get going this morning? Do you think opening arguments will happen immediately, or do we expect a flurry of motions?
So I get the sense that we should get to opening arguments, but you always wonder when you see one of the defendants get here a couple of hours before it's set to go.
Bingo. Just like George Floyd's situation, okay? He had some issues in his past. Grand, whatever. God gave him life and his mama, okay? That nobody else has the right to take that away from him. Period. Past or no past. Whether Tyre had a past or didn't have a past, which he absolutely didn't, nobody has that right to take your life away from you just because they felt like it. And he was not, like I said, he wasn't the first person that the Scorpion, and I'm going to say it like this, the Scorpion gang, that's how they acted. It was like a gang attacked. He wasn't the first one. It happened many other times too. He's just the only one that was recorded and that died. Okay. It's disgusting. Every one of those people, those losers, deserves to die the same way. I think they should take turns on each one of them, beating them to death, and let their families feel the same pain that Tyre's mom feels. I can't with this case. It kills me, you guys. Absolutely makes me sick.
Is there some kind of motion? Is there some kind of change of plea, if that's possible? You wonder what's going on when you see someone here 2 hours before the start of the trial, but we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens.
All right. I know we have several crews there around the courthouse. Ernie Freeman reporting live in downtown Memphis. Thank you. Fox 13's on.
Revealing new testimony in the murder trial of 3 former Memphis police officers charged in Tyre Nichols' death.
Yesterday, we heard from 7 witnesses, including one of the EMTs that was called to the scene after Tyre Nichols was beaten, a beating that led to his death. Dominique Dillon joining us live with more on that and what to expect today.
Val and Ernie, it's unclear who will take the stand first today, but yesterday wrapped up with former EMT Robert Long on the stand. Long is one of the 2 EMTs who responded to the scene after the beating. He testified that Nichols was able to tell him his name and age when he first arrived on the scene, and that Nichols admitted he had been drinking that night. Long.
I don't care. I don't care if he was drinking, doing drugs. I don't give a shit what he was doing. He didn't deserve that.
Says the officers on scene told him that Nichols was pepper sprayed and tased, but they never shared that he had been punched or kicked in the face. They also told him there was somewhat of an altercation. Defense attorneys pressed Long, saying he and his supervisor, Jamichael Sandridge, didn't do enough to prevent Nichols.
I'm not surprised, Aurora. I'm not surprised. It's sickening, the abuse of power that happens on a regular basis with these idiots. They get a badge attached to their body and they think they have the power of God and it makes me sick. It's disgusting and ignorant. Held guns on your children. See what I'm saying? Dude, who does that? That's not part of the job at all.
Nichols' death.
If Tyree Nichols was getting no care, no basic life support care, you're telling us and the jury that it's Sandridge's responsibility, not yours. Is that what you're telling us?
That as far as I don't assume primary care, even if he doesn't completely terminate care, and he would have to relay that to his partner. If he doesn't give me any signs, I wouldn't know.
Isn't Tyree Nichols giving you and Sandridge?
See, the man admits to a drinking, but he wasn't drunk. So again, just one more reason it never should have happened. Even if he was drunk, I don't care if he was falling down drunk. That nobody has a right to do that. Sorry.
The signs that he is struggling there at the scene. Are you just going to sit there and say, "Well, I'm going to wait till Sandridge tells me to do something"? Is that what your position was that night?
No, sir.
We also heard from several character witnesses who testified that Tadarius Bean
And that EMT should be ashamed of himself. I've been on many scenes where I have seen and treated people that have been stopped by the police for different reasons, so on and so forth. I've never been on a scene where somebody was attacked by the police or murdered by the police, which is what happened to him. He was murdered by them. But I've seen it go the other direction, and I've seen people attack police officers, bite them, spit at them, kick them, punch them. So we're having to treat the police officers, and they never retaliated in this sense. Okay, not all police are bad. Not all cops are bad. Not all cops do this. A lot of them do exactly what they're supposed to do, guys. That's why I don't believe that whole defund the police thing. I'm not putting that out there. But I'm telling you that this here, no. Nope. Yeah, right. He was 3 houses away from his mother's house, screaming for her to help him. He thought that was his safe haven. It breaks my heart in half, folks. It really does.
and Justin Smith, the 2 former officers charged, are good men. The prosecution's response, that even good men do bad things. Things pick back up today at 9 o'clock. Val, Ernie.
Okay, and I know you'll be checking in with us in that 9 o'clock hour. Thanks, Dominique.
Officers and doctors were called to the stand in Memphis in the trial of 3 former police officers who faced charges in the death of Tyree Nichols. Nichols was beaten after a traffic stop in January of 23, just steps away from his home. He died days later. According to records, Nichols died from blows to the head, which affected his heart rate and breathing, and he was eventually ruled brain dead. Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith all pleaded not guilty to their charges. Bean's former field training officer called him one of his best trainees and talked about his strong work ethic and professionalism. Other colleagues described them as dedicated officers.
Very caring, laid back, and understanding.
He's a humble guy, well-mannered. Listen, I'd say he's a man of integrity. I'd say he's a man of the truth.
The defense also called a forensic pathologist who testified that Nichols suffered from severe kidney disease prior to his deadly encounter with police. Attorneys argued that complications
Exactly,
developed
Tomboy.
after his initial hospitalization.
WREG in Memphis. This is News Channel 3 at 6.
Could and should first responders have done more to help an injured Tyree Nichols
Absolutely.
the night he was beaten by 3 former Memphis police officers?
That is the issue taking center stage on day 4 of the trial of Tadarius Bean, Justin Smith, and Demetrius Haley. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Hurst.
And I'm Stephanie Skurlock. WREG's April Thompson has been covering the trial from the beginning. She is live right now from the Criminal Justice Center. And April, what are first responders saying?
A lot of grilling for the EMTs, the first responders who were on the scene the night of Tyree Nichols' beating. That one that's taking center stage right now. Today, that was Robert Long, and he was the last witness called to testify today before court wrapped up about 5 o'clock. Pictures show Long standing and looking at Tyree, who was on the ground, propped against a police car. Now, he says Tyree was responding to his questions and was alert. But the question is why it took a while for anyone to provide him treatment. And attorneys pressed for who was in charge.
When you arrive at a crime scene or a police-involved scene, who is in charge of the medical treatment there on that scene?
The highest level of care.
Elmer Fudd language.
In this case, it was the advanced EMT. The highest level of care assumes the primary care of each and every patient on every scene, regardless of what the scene is.
Then, and you were not number one guy. You were what, number two guy?
Yes, sir.
And what is the number two guy's role?
The EMT's role, as far as assisting the higher level of care, is considered the gopher. So and what I mean by that is that if the advanced EMT needs something brought to the scene that wasn't initially brought to the scene, the advanced EMT advises the EMT to go grab that said piece of equipment while he can maintain patient care.
Isn't Tyree Nichols giving you and Sanders the signs that he is struggling there at the scene? Are you just going to sit there and say, well, I'm going to wait till Sanders tells me to do something? Is that what your position was that night?
No, sir.
Well, then what was it? You're an EMT hired by the Memphis Fire Department to provide medical care at a secondary gopher level or whatever to victims in Memphis. Who was taking care of Tyree Nichols while he was laying on the ground?
It was the advanced EMT. He was
advanced EMT. All right, I'll move on here.
When prosecutors had an opportunity to question.
And that exchange pretty much.
I don't care who was who, if he was a basic or an advanced EMT or a damn paramedic. You still have a mouth. You can open up your mouth and say something. And he should have and could have and didn't. And that's what makes me sick.
Summed it up, a lot of confusion about who does what and who is in charge, and never really a clear answer. And Robert Long will remind you, though, he was fired from the Memphis police.
And that's facts right there. Here's the fact, guys. A basic EMT, they have basic life-saving skills, CPR, they know how to treat wounds, so on and so forth. An advanced EMT has double that level. They can start IVs. Basic EMTs know how to do that too. They know how to use needles. They can administer certain medications. An advanced EMT can administer certain things. A paramedic can do all of that and then some. Okay, it doesn't matter what level they were. Basic life-saving skills would have been good enough to help this man, or maybe just making a statement, backing them away from him, getting them away from the situation, finding out exactly what happened, things like that. This is all bullshit. Okay. This is not political. This is about officers who had a grudge against this young man for whatever reason. Amen. 100%. And I think they took all of their own personal frustrations out on this situation. That's not what happened. You don't bring your emotions to work when you're a police officer or a first responder by any means whatsoever. You don't do it. You don't do it. They're two separate things. Your personal life is your personal life. You come to work, that's work. So whatever issues they may have had, it doesn't matter. That's another excuse. Mainstream media wants us to use the Tyree Nichols tragedy to divide our country and demonize police in general, framing a personal feud as police targeting blacks. Yeah, and it's bullshit. No, it's absolute bullshit. There's no politicism involved in this. There shouldn't be any political views on this whatsoever. It is generalized ignorance is all this is. These men did what they did. That's all there is to it. They knew better, but they did it anyway because they thought they were going to get away with it because of who their leader was and because they had in the past. Okay. And they let it get away from them. This one died. And now it's out the whole world to see it. And it's sickening to me.
Fire department because of his work conduct that night. So that says a lot. Long's testimony is over. Tomorrow we are back with another witness. Reporting live for your news leader in downtown Memphis, April Thompson, WREG News Channel 3.
All right, Proof, there was a lot of fallout from that incident. Thank you.
There wasn't enough fallout. Ignorance breeds hate. Hate breeds violence. Violence breeds death. And this is all about ignorance. It is. Ignorance and hate, period. No reason for any of that. None of it at all. It absolutely makes me want to fight somebody, you guys. This brings something out of me that I can't explain to you. It makes me so angry. Beyond angry. I can't even explain the anger I feel from seeing this, knowing this. Now I'm going to show you a testimony real quick from the unit, an ex-Scorpion unit officer testifying at this. 1 second here.
The state trial against 3 former Memphis police officers accused in the beating death of Tyree Nichols. An ex-Scorpion unit officer took the stand this morning. He was present for the initial traffic stop in January of 2023. Now, he told the jury he never saw Nichols driving recklessly, but he says he drove for around 2 miles before pulling over for police.
And do we know why that happens? That's happened here where I live. That young black men that get pulled over by police are afraid to stop because of this. It's happened here. And when they've been told, in not so many words, if you're getting pulled over by the police and you have a fear, you call 911 right away. And you get online with 911, and that's what they're supposed to do. He probably didn't think about that. I'm just saying, once again, they do it. There's a reason why they do it, because it happens too often. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. So,
police. He said he never saw Nichols attack or threaten officers while they were trying to detain him on the first scene. He agreed with attorneys that he would not consider Nichols' alleged police resistance a fight for officers.
How about that? Could you hear that a little bit better in the background?
Yes, sir.
What did the person say in the background?
Give me your hands.
What do you say?
Can I hear it one more time?
Sure.
Yeah, give me your hands.
So the call is Justin's voice going out, but you hear someone in the background saying, "Give me your hands."
Yes, sir.
Do you have any idea whose voice that was?
It sounds like Officer Martin.
Now, Darius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith are all facing a second-degree murder charge in this case.
WREG in Memphis. This is News Channel 3 at 5.
First at 5 on your news later, one of the first EMTs to see a beaten Tyree Nichols testifies in the trial of 3 officers accused of killing him. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst.
all right, we've seen that testimony. I think I had. Yeah, this is another one thing that made me absolutely disgusted when I heard this too. And this to me is why I never believed. I think this was done for a reason. Okay. And this is why I couldn't accept that the woman that was involved that with the one officer and so on and so forth wasn't part of the reason for this. You too, Miss Paula. We love you to death. Because of this situation here that with this officer.
Away right now for 3 of the former Memphis police officers charged in the fatal beating death of Tyree Nichols. In court yesterday, a cybercrime expert revealed that one former officer took a photo of Nichols after the assault and shared it 11 times. The 3 defendants face several charges, including secondary murder and aggravated assault. They've all.
Now, why would you do something like that? I think it was a message to somebody else. 11 times he shared it, okay? And I feel in my soul that was a message being sent for somebody else to see for a reason, and that's why I will not accept what they've debunked in the courtroom. And I'm no disrespect to them or anything about it, but I still feel like, yeah, he sent it to the girl. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what, like Wisdom said right here. That's why I'm saying they may have debunked it in court. That's fine. I still feel like that was part of the reason. truly in my heart, I do. It shouldn't have happened. And that right there, no.
Pleaded not guilty. An important note here, they were found guilty of federal obstruction of justice charges last year. For more on this now, I'm joined by Aaron Fleming. He's a reporter for the Daily Memphian. Hey there, good morning, Aaron. Remind us what happened in the previous trial and so far in this trial.
Yeah, so if you'll recall last year, they were charged with federal civil rights violations that includes using excessive force against Nichols and then also lying to supervisors about what happened.
And see, in my opinion, I think that, and that's probably fine. That's probably true as to what they were, Wisdom. The other officer, in my opinion, the one that did what he did, probably didn't feel that way. Overly jealous, whatever the reason was, that's truly what I think the issue was there.
And two of the three officers were convicted of obstruction of justice, and the third officer, Demetrius Haley, is convicted on all four charges. But two of those charges, using excessive force resulting in Nichols' death, were downgraded to resulting in bodily injury to Nichols.
And we heard emotional testimony from Tyre Nichols' mother earlier this week. I just want to share some of that for our viewers.
I walked into the room and I saw my son. I immediately went over to him and I fell out on him because my son was beaten to a pulp.
That's just a mother's worst moment. Why is it critical? Why?
And look at that, guys. That would be yet another reason for the police officer to have anger issues, I guess you could say. I agree. And it makes sense to me. So once again, they can debunk all they want. I don't believe it. Over a relationship, over a woman, over jealousy, a life was taken. That a father, a son, a nephew, a brother, a friend that had his whole life in front of him and he's gone. It's gone over that. Ignorance, jealousy, and stupidity.
Why is that testimony critical? And what did we hear about why the officers shared images of this?
I think her testimony was critical to show the jury just exactly how bad this beating was and how it affected the family. And I think it's unclear why he shared images of Nichols after he was beaten, but we know that he shared it at least 11 times and had conversations with 8 different people about it.
Wow. Now, we know this trial is different, as you noted, from the federal case in which officers were already convicted. So what are the possible outcomes here?
The biggest outcome here for second-degree murder, they're facing 15 to 60 years in prison in Tennessee.
Hefty sentence. We'll keep watching this closely. Aaron Fleming, thanks for joining us.
Former Memphis police officer Preston Hemphill goes back on the witness stand this morning in the murder trial over Tyre Nichols' death. And yesterday, the prosecution rested its case after just 2.5 days of testimony. I think we all thought it would go a little longer, didn't we?
A lot of people were surprised at them resting so quickly, but Fox 13's Dominic Dillon is down at 201 Poplar. So Hemphill scheduled to get on the witness stand again. What about yesterday? Anything that he said that was significant or memorable?
One of the things that stood out to me was he explained what he was feeling at the time that he stated, and we heard it on body camera video, stomp him. That was what he said after Tyre Nichols ran off. But I'm going to also take you back to yesterday while he was on the stand. He also gave us a little bit of background information about himself. He stated that he was on patrol with officers Demetrius Haley and Emmett Martin the night of the deadly beating. He also stated that he was a member of the now disbanded Scorpion team, along with the 3 other officers that are currently on trial. He was fired for his role in the initial traffic stop that led to the beating, but he was never criminally charged, and he also never went to the other scene where the beating actually occurred. He told the jury that he made the traffic stop with Haley and Martin, and they considered it high risk because Nichols kept driving after they tried to pull him over. He also walked the courtroom through the body camera video while he was on the stand. And you can see him in that video, as I said, fire his taser at Nichols and then say that he hopes the officers stomp him after Nichols runs off.
You made a comment there. What was your comment?
That I hope they stomp his.
Did you have any reason to believe that anybody was going to stomp anybody's?
No, sir.
What you mean by
it? Just from being pissed off at the situation, from being pepper sprayed and losing my glasses and just angry.
And Hill went on to say that everything that they did during the traffic stop was what they were taught to do. Once again, he's expected to take the stand again at 9 o'clock, and we're going to be in the courtroom. We're also going to bring you a little more inside looks of the courtroom from yesterday.
This is one of the most disgusting. Rodney King, George Floyd, Tyree Nichols. Too many of these situations that have happened. There's just no excuse for this. None of it. None of it at all. Right, and that's exactly it. They're not taught to brutally beat somebody to death, okay? They're not. Let's see here. I feel so bad for his mother. Hang on, guys.
Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
I'm just going to show this at the end of this so that everybody knows the truth as to what happened with this and how bad it actually was, for those of you that didn't know.
Man, hell. My I just re-opened my shit back up, bro. My leg, bro. My knee.
Oh, I guess that one didn't show what I thought it was supposed to. I thought I had the initial. Hang on. There we go. I'm sorry, I had the wrong one. There's a couple different versions of it. Come on now. Let's do this. Good God. Sorry, guys. 1 minute. I forgot I have to go through this to do this.
We have the second clip now released by the city of Memphis ready to go. We want to give you another warning. This video apparently is the most graphic and the most shocking to watch. Also, again, we want to give a warning. There are likely lots of profanities. This is, from what we understand, the Sky Cop cam video, which is.
Okay, so this is this is the one. Be prepared, folks. Trigger warning once again. This is real, and it's no joke. So
It's a pole cam looking down at the arrest.
And that's what the sky cams are. They sit up at the top of like telephone poles, and they can see 4 corners of the intersections, and it's pointing down. So thank you guys for the triggers here.
And subsequent beatdown. So I'm being told by our producers, again, we're watching this in real time, that there is no audio on this, but you do not need to listen to this, because what we are seeing here is kick after kick. It looks like in the direction of Tyre Nichols' head. I was just at that intersection earlier tonight, and believe it or not, it is 3 houses away from where Tyre Nichols' parents live. He was running in the direction of his parents' house. This overhead camera here, it's called Sky Cop, and they're all around. Oh, and it looks like an officer here has a baton. Looks like they're holding him up. Oh, man. The family described this video. They are literally holding him up. Oh, there's some violent punches being thrown. He's literally being held up and beaten with a baton and fists right to the face. I can count 4 officers on the scene right here. He does not appear at all
they picked him
to
up
be resisting arrest. In
just
fact,
to
he
hit him again.
appears to be lifeless at this point. An officer now on top of him, on his back, it appears. Looks like another responding unit is in the area. Again, this is 3 houses away from where his parents live. We cannot escape that fact.
He was almost home.
This video coming from a camera they call Sky Cop here in Memphis. It's attached to an electricity pole right above the neighborhood where his parents lived. It looked like another officer just came in, and now kickstart once again. I have 2 Memphis City Council members with me here that have joined Top Story tonight. I thank you for your time, and I know it's not easy to come and speak on a live broadcast like this as we're watching this video in real time.
He was
How
right there,
disappointing is this?
and he was almost there.
It's
Welcome,
hard to
Karen.
put words to it, but the lack of regard for humanity and sanctity of life. These are the men and women that are entrusted to protect our community, and they're well trained.
And I know it sounds harsh, you guys. I've said it before, but I feel like this is exactly what should be done to each one of these monsters. The exact same thing. Step for step, kick for kick, punch for punch, baton hit for baton hit. Every single bit of it should happen to each one of them the exact same way. In fact, I think I know this sounds ignorant, but they should allow their families to watch it happen. Because that is, in a sense, what they did. 3 houses from his mother's house. She had no idea. No idea. This is insane to me. Absolutely insane. You guys have seen. There's no reason to watch any more of it. Anyway. This other gentleman here. Oh, he's not a gentleman, but this other piece of shit should say. 1 minute.
Let's start with your name.
Desmond Mills.
And can you spell it for the benefit of the court reporter?
DESMONDMILLS.
And Mr. Mills, first, you understand, or do you understand, that you are charged in this case, in this indictment?
Yes.
that you are charged with murder, second degree, with aggravated kidnapping, aggravated assault, official misconduct, and official oppression.
Yes.
Are you also charged in federal court?
Yes.
Have you entered a guilty plea in federal court?
Yes.
Have you also entered into an agreement in state court which amounts to a guilty plea?
Yes.
Have you been told that your sentence will be set by a federal judge?
Yes.
And it will be set at a sentencing hearing in front of that federal
Agreed,
judge in
Karen,
federal
agreed.
court. Is that correct?
Yes.
The charges that you have pled guilty to in federal court, the maximum sentences are life sentences. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you been told that your truth will be taken into the truthful testimony, that telling the truth will be taken into consideration at your federal sentencing?
Yes.
Are you hoping that by telling the truth, that will be taken into consideration at your federal sentencing?
Yes.
Have you been told that if you are truthful, that the federal government has put a cap on what they would ask the federal judge to sentence you to?
Yes.
And have you been told that the highest number that the federal government will ask for you to be sentenced to is 15 years in federal prison?
Yes.
But have you also been told that ultimately it is the federal judge that will set your sentence and not the federal government, not those attorneys?
Yes.
Do you understand that the federal judge could give you life sentences?
Yes.
Do you understand the federal judge could also ignore the recommendation of 15 years and give you less than that?
Yes.
Theoretically, the federal judge could even give you supervised release
Yes.
or a prison sentence up to life in federal prison.
Yes.
Do you understand how important it is that you tell the truth?
Yes.
Have you come here today to tell the truth?
Yes.
Let me pass you this document and ask you if you recognize it.
Yes.
Is that also the agreement you have with the state prosecutors on your case?
Yes.
And have you signed that document
Yes.
along with your attorneys?
Yes.
We can have that introduced as a state 6 number exhibit. Yeah.
Show the memorandum of understanding from Mr. Mills as exhibit 4.
I published this to the jury by reading it. Mr. Mills, listen, okay?
Okay.
This is a memorandum of understanding that's entered into by the parties, the state of Tennessee, the district attorney, and the defendant Desmond Mills, represented by his attorney Blake Ballin. This memorandum is intended as a binding agreement between the parties, and at the appropriate time will be filed with the court in this indictment 2300241. It will, consistent with the state's ethical obligations, be made known to co-defendants' counsels. Acceptance of responsibility and acknowledgement of conduct. Defendant Desmond Mills wishes to take responsibility for his role in the beating and death of Tyree Nichols, and fully acknowledges that his conduct and the conduct of his co-defendants was improper, excessive, and criminal. He acknowledges that Tyree Nichols was improperly beaten, then restrained, and that he and his co-defendants then covered up their criminal conduct by, among other things.
Welcome, Raquel. All right, guys, it'll take forever, but I just wanted to show you some clips of what's going on within this trial and stuff like that. That was from a testimony from 3 days ago. We'd be here all day, but I'm going to keep up with updates with it, keeping everybody up to date on it. But thank you, Eddie, for bringing that back to my attention. I also have, where to go? Hang on here. Is this the one? Hold on. One. All right, I'm trying to pull up the other cases or the other stories and stuff I had pulled up for today. There's some wild stuff going on out there for sure. Let's see here. Where's this next one I had? That Tyree thing took me off guard. That's okay. It fits in perfect. 1 minute here. Okay, so we have another story coming out of Florida. A nurse, guys, a nurse. This is wild. Good old Jesse. Here you go, ladies. You get to hang out with Jesse for a little bit here. All right, hold on. One moment, guys.
She got caught having sex with her 15-year-old stepson. That news led us down a path of disturbing details that sheds light not only on the suspect's alleged actions, but the reaction from the victim's own family. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. And by the way, have you ever left a meeting and thought, what did we just talk about for the last 30 minutes? Or maybe you're in a position where you want to take notes, but you really can't. Well, I'll tell you what, I've been there a lot of times, and luckily there is now a solution. It's called Claude NotePen. This is an incredible tool that leverages AI to boost your productivity. So you can wear it in a few different ways. Like right here, I have it right on my summarizes everything into one clean template. And 15-year-old son. It saves time and allows you to stay low or scan the QR code on screen.
All right, here we go.
Serious about leveling up, start here. A registered nurse caught in a compromising position with her husband's 15-year-old son. Quite the headline, I know. But that is what is apparently detailed in an arrest report from Ocala, Florida. Because now 35-year-old Alexis Yates, also known as Alexis Von Yates, is facing a charge of sexual battery on a person 12 to 18 years of age by a person in familial custody. So how did we get here? Well, to talk about it, I want to bring in victims' rights lawyer John Phillips. John, thanks so much for coming back here on Sidebar. My gosh, we're going to get into more of the disturbing details of what allegedly happened here between Yates and her stepson in just a moment. But first, I just want to get your reaction to that accusation. I mean, it's pretty crazy to be thinking about.
It is. I started reading the affidavit at like 9 o'clock in the morning, before my coffee, and I felt dirty. Like it's awful. It just, it's a bad X-rated movie, in real life with a real child victim.
It's interesting you say that because I had Chris Hansen here the other day, renowned predator catcher. And when we talk about these cases, one of the things that came up was, why are we
Welcome,
seeing
Kaylee.
stories like this like almost every day? And there's a number of factors, but you wonder if all the allegations are true. So assuming this is all true for a minute, you wonder, what is the impact pornography might be having? Why? Because honestly, the truth is sexual encounters between adult film stars pretending to be step parents and stepchildren, that makes up a large swath of the pornography industry. And you have to wonder, what impact do you think porn has on creating the foundation for crimes like these? And yes, these are allegations, and we're not saying pornography had any kind of impact on this, but it became part of the conversation. And I'm just wondering, in your opinion, is that a factor? Is that a consideration? Trying to make sense of stories like this. I deal with them all the time. Teachers, stepchildren. You tell me if I'm crazy for thinking that.
There's two parts of it, so I have a 13-year-old boy, and you got to gauge when you're going to have the birds and the bees talk, right? But like my parents, it was pre-internet. And so where else was I going to learn it other than from friends, right? Here, you're a VPN away, as a child, from seeing and knowing anything and everything. And, even Howard Stern on his radio show talks about his proclivity towards stepmom or stepdad porn. And that's exactly kind of what played out here. I don't know that one caused the other, but certainly our children are able to mature and know things. Even reading the affidavit here, you want the 15-year-old to be innocent, but the way that he was operating, clearly, even though allegedly he was a virgin, he moved in a way that seemed to be experienced.
Well, he's a minor, though. That's the problem. And there's no really any such thing as consent when you're dealing with a minor. So let me amplify that a little bit. Let me explain a little bit more of the circumstances of this case. So I want to talk about this alleged incident between Yates and her 15-year-old stepson, 15 years old. So Yates has been married to the boy's father for 6 years. This is a
Thank you so much, Ms. Kaylee, for that super sticker. I appreciate you so much. I hope you're feeling better, and it's great to have you here, dear.
According to social media posts that were viewed by the outlet Ocala News. The teen was apparently visiting his father in Florida in 2024 for summer break. Now, according to the Marion County Sheriff's Office, an anonymous tip came in on July 30th, 2024, saying that a man had walked in on his wife and son having sex. Okay, so detectives brought in the child victim for what's called a forensic experiential trauma interview at a child advocacy center to try to get to the bottom of what happened. Let's just stop right there. John, how are those interviews typically conducted?
Very sterile. You have somebody that's.
I'm wonderful, Kaylee. Thank you, and I hope you're feeling better. It's wonderful to have you here. We always love having you here, and we appreciate your support in every way.
That's experienced with child trauma who conducts an interview. Typically you're looking at younger victims than this, so they're trained to handle things very delicately. This one read very interesting because, again, you're dealing with a teenage boy here, and there's some parts of it that apparently one of the interviewers was a female, and even apologized to the female because the female interviewer, law enforcement agent, that he was having to use these words describing oral sex and going into great detail. The affidavit goes into tremendous detail.
Oh my gosh, what the teen reportedly said was just chilling and disgusting, to say the least. I mean, he apparently revealed that his dad worked late nights as a lineman, and he was staying with his dad, stepmom, 2 younger half siblings as part of this summer vacation. According to the arrest affidavit, on the night of the incident, Yates had put the youngest children to bed and then started playing a video game or video games and watched a movie with this 15-year-old. And he claims that she let him use her THC vape pen. Now, around 1 a.m., they both apparently decide they're bored with watching the movie that they're apparently they're watching, which is when the teen claims that Yates started making these inappropriate sexual comments, including allegedly that she was horny and hadn't had sex in 2 weeks. Now, the teen told the interviewer that Yates had been making sexual jokes in front of him for approximately a week leading up to that night. According to the arrest affidavit, he also disclosed that he hadn't had any sort of sexual experience before and was essentially, I think it's fair to say, based on the characterization, maybe infatuated with Yates. So, John, let's stop again. If this is all true, would this classify as grooming, taking part in something the teen likes, the video games, giving the opportunity to partake in intoxicating substances, slowly introducing him to sexual ideas? Does that seem like a classic grooming accusation?
It does, because there's like a golf cart trip with other females at a point, and he takes a shot of alcohol and gets another exposure to either CBD or THC. I think it's THC, and even feels woozy to the point they need to speed the golf cart up so he can get some air. And then there's reference to this stepmom porn and horniness, and it's just appalling. And you don't talk to children like that, much less push things forward. It's 100% grooming, and there's like a reference comparing their penises in there too by her, which was mortifying.
Let me just say, I'm not going to get into detail, but she's accused of comparing the son to the father. Just put that to the side for a second. Okay. So the arrest affidavit continues.
That is, oh my, I don't even have words. Forget it.
Quote, thinking about all the statements the suspect had made to him about being horny, he decided to ask her if she wanted to cuddle. The suspect stated she thought that might be weird. So he lays on top of the suspect as she lay with her head down, the armrest of the couch, and she commented something to the effect of, "Oh, you're just going right for it, huh?" The suspect and child victim kissed. As the suspect began escalating, the suspect said, "Ah, man, I wish you were 18 because you're not old enough." Now, despite this alleged statement, the teen victim apparently told the interviewer that he performed oral sex on Yates, and this escalated with the two of them then having sex. And again, the details in this affidavit are incredibly detailed and graphic. We're not going to be getting into any of them here.
Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
Interviewer noted that the way the teen described all of this was consistent with somebody who actually experienced this rather than somebody just telling them a story that they heard, which I think, John, is important, right? As disgusting as those details are, I think it goes to that level of credibility, and particularly it shows how careful these interviews have to be.
Right. The minutia matters, and they talk about cunnilingus and where he kissed and licked and her response, and it checks out, as the kids would say. It's outrageous and nothing but grooming, providing underage with intoxicants. It's just all around awful.
But it's interesting if you take these allegations as true, and we have a lot more to get into here, but for a minor to be able to open up and explain this, that's not easy for anybody, but let alone somebody that age. Do you see it's like they have a sense, I want to tell the story, I want to get this off my chest? And by the way, these are allegations, right? She hasn't been proven guilty, but it seems in a lot of the cases that we've covered together, there is that level of detail and there is that level of opening up. And I'm curious if you see a pattern.
You do. This is a 15-year-old boy. And again, taking it that he is a minor, unquestionably, the average boy loses his virginity at 15 to 17. So at some point, I think he's not ashamed. There's the family shame, the what's going to come of how this destroys my family. But I think the sex act, he even, like I said, reference to the investigator, "Oh, sorry if I'm being too graphic." There's points of it that are so discussed in such detail. And this is just the report, right? This is just the officer's affidavit. There was almost, about the amount of time she had to moan, like there was almost some bravado in his storytelling. And it circles back on the double standard of some of these cases. Sometimes when you have a female victim versus a male victim, we're not as a society as appalled by this. If the genders were opposite, people would be in an outrage, and we should be equally outraged because a 15-year-old's a 15-year-old.
Going back to that arrest affidavit, it reads, quote, "Suddenly, the door began to unlock. The front door is directly in front of the couch. The child victim recalled running to the bathroom as his father entered the home, seeing his wife with no bra on and a blanket covering the lower half of her body. The child victim's father saw the child victim running to the bathroom and yelled, 'What the bleep is going on?' as he threw things. Quote, the child did not disclose what occurred, and his father told him to pack his things, saying he was taking the child victim to his grandparents' home. As he packed the things, he heard his father yelling at the suspect. Now, the teen told the interviewer that his father called his stepmother some things that we can't repeat here, but also allegedly called her a child predator. And according to the arrest affidavit, quote, he also overheard the suspect telling the child victim's father she was sorry, saying the child victim looks like his father when he was younger. And according to the teen, Yates immediately started spinning a tape.
Are you kidding me? He looked like the father when he was young. That's disgusting. Moving.
That she wasn't at fault. Quote, the child victim's father then returned the child victim and confronted him, saying the suspect told him she was asking child victim to stop. The child victim told his father this was untrue. The child victim then believed he was going to get beaten by his father's belt, but his father decided not to. They got into the car as the child victim's father told the child victim he ruined his life. They stopped at a gas station, and child victim's father purchased a 6-pack of beer, began drinking them aggressively as he took the child victim to his grandfather's home. The child victim's father told the child victim never to contact him again because he was, quote, a failure. Now, the sheriff's office says that the teen claimed during this interview that members of his family were actively trying to cover up what had happened. Per the affidavit, quote, he recalled disclosing what had occurred to his cousin at the location. After this, his grandfather confronted the child victim, saying, "You better not be telling them what happened." His grandfather then told him not to call his mother when the child victim attempted to call to disclose to her. When asked to clarify a statement made by the child victim about his father trying to cover it up, the child victim stated that his father called his grandfather, saying he wanted to strangle the child and then kill himself. His father later called him and told him not to tell his mother and not to tell the police. The child victim's aunt later told the child victim that the suspect was talking about the incident, but was calling the child victim a master manipulator, blaming him for the incident. So, John, a lot of allegations back and forth here. Hard to make sense of what's going on. But if you take this account as true, very, very disturbing. What do you take away from this?
Very disturbing. And you know, people tend to live in the now. And so you've got an electrical worker, right? The guy that goes on the lines and keeps our power on in Florida during, you know, I don't know whether this happened in hurricane season or not, but you know, hard worker who came in late at night, early in the morning, and sees this horror of horrors that then, you know, is going to have a secondary impact on his child custody. And you know, the stigma of this.
Not to mention the humiliation. Okay. As a man, the humiliation of the reality of this. Okay. I mean, this completely of course, instant family ruin. Yeah, destroys your family first and foremost. And it probably demasculates the man, the father. Okay, you know, when you're looking at the situation, the father, in a sense, has to look at this as a, you know, how do you compete with a situation where your wife is more interested in a 15-year-old than you? You know what I'm saying? That it demasculates him. It's humiliating. I mean, I can see how he would feel certain type of way about certain things, and that's your child at the same time. So what the fighting within his mind had to have been horrible. That's just, it's so horrifying. It's crazy.
You know, all your friends, all your neighbors are going to be, you know, if this makes public and people know who it is, are going to be like, what in the world? And so people live in the now. And so I'm not surprised that he would have suicidal thoughts. There was no physical violence, thank God. But I can't stress it enough. And no matter what the 15-year-old did to provoke or entice this, they can't. And so, you know, it's up.
And that's the whole thing. You can't blame this on the kid. Regardless of what he did, she's the adult. She knows right from wrong. She knows yes from no. She knows what she should do and not do, and she played right into it. She knew what she was doing. And I don't want to hear any of the bullshit excuses she's going to put out, because that's all they are if she does. Absolute ignorance.
Up to the adult to leave the room or keep your clothes on. And that didn't happen here.
But if you take these allegations as true, also, do you see it common for the suspect, the defendant in this case, Ms. Yates, someone in her position, to shift the blame to the other party, to shift the blame to the minor victim, which, again, is not a legal defense, but generally speaking, do you see those kinds of defenses or justifications?
Exactly,
Not even a
Andy.
legal defense, just a defense to what happened?
Right. I mean, according to the people that were there, according to this report, they both admit she did it and she was caught in the act of doing it. So the next best thing, you can't say it didn't happen, right? Your gaslight isn't going to shine that far. The next best thing is, but it's his fault. I'm the victim. And the problem is that admits statutory rape, basically. But it's just, what else are you going to say, kind of living in the now as a defense?
From a legal point of view, a Florida legal point of view, if these allegations are true, if you are telling the minor victim not to report what happened, not talk about what happened, is that a crime?
It is. So Florida can prosecute that as kind of double punishment. To some extent, is either blackmailing of a witness or witness tampering.
Now, the affidavit continues, and the affidavit says, quote, the child victim expressed sorrow and was emotional as he disclosed realizing that his man's man, blue-collar father, seeing what happened to his son, did not face the sexual abuse of his child like a man. And according to the alleged victim, it didn't end there, because according to him, Yates continued trying to communicate with him. The arrest affidavit says the day after the incident, the child victim called the suspect. During this phone call, the suspect told the child victim she wished his father had not caught them. In the days after his interview with police, the affidavit indicates that the victim had a phone call with someone named Haley. Now, it's not clear who exactly this person is, but it's possible this person is a family member of some kind. Quote, she advises his father is willing to take the truth about the incident and protect the child victim if he's willing to testify. The child victim says now he knows his father is on his side, he would be willing to do so. The child victim was told that the child victim's father did not want to live with the suspect any longer, but it's complicated when asked about the relationship. The child victim was advised that his father wanted the suspect to be arrested. Haley advised that the child victim's father did not wish to kill him anymore and told her, their grandmother, and others that he will testify and wants the child victim to do so as well. Wow. Whiplash here, John.
The family dynamic is wild here. But again, you're dealing with a crime, but also the stigma of my partner does family law, and how this is going to be used in a custody case is real. And meanwhile, you have a 15-year-old kid that has emasculated in some ways their father. I mean, this wasn't just somebody that had been dating for a while.
Just like I just said, emasculated him 100%. Total humiliation.
This was somebody he had been married to for a fairly lengthy period of time. And this is the ultimate betrayal, not just child abuse, but sexual abuse. And he's reading the report and saying that his penis size was compared to his 15-year-old's penis size and shape and color and texture. It's just, there are no words. It's awful.
Good
I got
God.
nothing to say to that. I got nothing to say to that. I don't know. Let me shake that one off for a second. So anyway, deputies, they indicate in this affidavit that they tried multiple times to get in touch with Yates and her husband, but they were unsuccessful. So in November of 2024, they went to the home, took her into custody. According to the affidavit, Yates advised she did not wish to speak with me without a lawyer present, but made several unprovoked statements about believing that since the Department of Children and Families had closed their case, she was in the clear, saying the incident was so accusatory, attempting to put blame on the child victim. John,
the fuck? Excuse my language, but what? Oh my God. People are so dumb.
If that's true, what does that indicate to you?
They're two separate cases. The DCF investigation, and their resources and the amount of complaints they get versus what a law enforcement and a prosecutor are going to do is two separate things. And again, I don't know if she's Mirandized. It kind of says she was, but that was kind of a statement against interest too. You know, it wasn't, I'm not going to talk and deny everything. It was, oh, but they've already looked into this and they didn't see it was that bad. But again, this would have to be the lie of the century, a series of lies of the century. You know, in other cases, you could see a child victim saying things that don't quite add up, but this is in such graphic detail.
She was a nurse, Walt, and easy with what you say, bro. I know how you get with certain things. Just take it easy. She was a nurse.
Detail, and there's some kind of contemporaneous admissions that to the father that I just don't see this going to full prosecution range.
Well, let's talk about the legal case. So Yates was originally arrested on a charge of lewd or lascivious battery on a child aged 12 to 16.
And look, she's crying. Boo hoo hoo.
But when prosecutors filed their case in December, they apparently charged her with sexual battery on a person 12 to 18 years of age by a person in familial custody. I read the statute on it, and it says this is when a person engages in any act with that person while the person is 12 years of age or older, but younger than 18 years of age, which constitutes sexual battery, commits a felony of the first degree.
And you know what, you guys, whether or not, like, I know teenage kids, okay? Teenage boys. This is something that he would probably brag about through his high school buddies, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Down the road, it's going to cause mental trauma for him, emotional trauma. It will. It absolutely will. There's always going to be an issue between him and his father in their relationship now. It's going to cause problems, period. End of story. Whether or not he thinks it's cool or not, okay? It's just ignorant. It's disgusting. I don't understand what a 35-year-old woman, what interest you have in a 15-year-old kid. The maturity level is just beyond me. Any of it. It's sickening. I don't get any of it. I don't get any of it. I never will. And I know this is, I've been through this situation, folks, in real life. That's all I can tell you. I've been there. I understand exactly what happened here, sadly. I've had to go through this personally and experience this myself. So it's not a good thing. It's not a fun thing for a parent to deal with. Not in the same sense as this, okay? But with one of my children. And it's a horrible thing. As a parent, you look at this situation and go, what the hell? How does this happen? What didn't you do? Why? You know, all those things. And then how do you approach that? As a parent, you can't. But the kids, you know, like I said, it's a bragging thing for them in some senses. They go with their buddies, yeah, I did this and we did that, blah, blah, blah. In some senses, but in others, it does affect them. Okay, they can put on a show and act a certain type of way about it with their friends, but in their own mind, when they're alone to themselves, it affects them. It's a mental and emotional catastrophe, per se, to them in their mind. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible.
It could be punishable up to maybe 30 years in prison. The other charge was a second-degree felony, my understanding is. So, John, this is per the Marion County online court records. It seems that they upgraded the charge. So a first-degree felony, right?
Yeah, and you see that. And if it hit the capital level, they'd need a grand jury. That's not this case. But you see that kind of commonly, that police.
And the problem with this, you guys, is that regardless of the 15, 16-year-old kid going to school, hanging out with his friends and talking about this, that, and everything else, like I said, they also look to this person because 6 years they were married. That's the stepmother. They look up to this person who has been there since he was, I don't know, 8 years old, and raised him, fed him, helped to clothe him, took care of him, was his mother in a sense, okay? And then that happened. You see what I'm saying? There's the difference. So when you're looking to that person as that person, and then something like this happened, it detaches. There's a detachment from some sort of your life and your reality, in my opinion. And you can't go back from that. You can't go back to that person, look at that person, or any other person for that matter. In my opinion, it causes trust issues and other things, I would think, psychologically. So there's that as well. I don't know, you guys. I don't know.
Police don't want to overcharge in the initial filings, the initial discussion, but once they put the facts around and see what the highest charge is for the court case, they try to charge as high as they can and then have the lesser includeds, within it in case that series of facts don't fit the crime.
Well, the problem is, Cassie, is that she should be the one that has the maturity level to be able to know right from wrong with this. You know what I'm saying? At 35, good God. It's just, it doesn't make any sense to me.
But here, it seems like it does. You want all of the evidence you can get your hands on before, your filing decision.
She was released the following day after she posted a $10,000 bond. And according to online court records, various depositions of witnesses have been underway. Yates is due back in Marion County Court at the end of May. If she's convicted, I mean, she could be facing years in prison, right, John? I mean, this is not a
I hope she does.
probationary offense. If this is true, she could get prison time for this, significant prison time, right?
Not just years, but potentially decades. And courts are stepping up and doing this. I live in Florida, and so I watch the news in Florida, weekly, if not nightly, when I'm not watching Law and Crime. And
thank you for the plug. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Prosecutors are taking these cases seriously because teachers are losing their minds left and right and sleeping with their students. And it is.
And I think I've told you guys before, I was looking through here one day after a case we had looked into, and I found probably 60 or 70 different instances, no lie, of a teacher that has done this. And the ages go anywhere from the age of 6 all the way up to 21 of their victims. It's insane. I don't get it. They're teachers. And they were, they had good lives. They were attractive teachers, attractive women with husbands, good lives. They had their own children. They had good jobs. They were living a decent life. And this is what they chose to do. It makes no sense to me. No sense to me.
Being prosecuted seriously now. Again, there used to be more of a double standard where if it happened to a girl, it was more seriously prosecuted. If it happened to a guy, like boys will be boys. But, finally the law is like, we're going to protect all children.
Let's say this goes to trial and all of a sudden this, alleged minor victim, the father, they don't want to testify about this. They don't want the shame of it. They don't want the harassment, whatever it might be. They decide, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to testify. Is that the end of the prosecution's case? Can they compel them to testify? You tell me how that works.
Yeah, so yes, they can compel them to testify. That doesn't mean that you're not. Look, as a prosecutor, you don't want your victim to be an uncooperative witness, and so there's a decision to be made if that were the case. All right, I can compel them to testify, and they're not going to answer me correctly, or they're not going to be sympathetic. I'm going to wind up losing this case anyway. And so then I have an uncooperative victim. I've lost the case. What good was it? I can certainly get in some of this through investigators, but you really need the victims, and the victims have to make a decision because you're going to have at 15, you're going to have somebody that's still a minor that's trying to go on with their life, and a stigmatized father and other family members that just want this as far behind them as possible, but it's in their future for a period of months or years.
But this is not the end of the story. I want everybody to know, because in the meantime, while all this criminal case is going on, okay, she's also facing a possible disciplinary hearing with the Florida Department of Health in regard to her nursing license. Remember, nurse? On April 25th, the department announced her license was suspended. Documents from the department say Joseph A. Ladapo, MD, PhD, State Surgeon General, orders the emergency suspension of the license of Alexis Yates, RN, to practice as a registered nurse in the state of Florida. In the course of their practice, registered nurses are responsible for administering treatment and medication to patients and caring for ill, injured, or infirm patients. Nurses are placed in a position of trust. Therefore, it is imperative that they demonstrate good judgment and good moral character. Ms. Yates' decision to engage in sexual activity with a minor child and/or her decision to allow a child to engage her in oral and penetrative sex indicates that she lacks the good judgment and moral character necessary to be a registered nurse. Ms. Yates' continued practice as a nurse presents a risk of immediate serious danger to the health, safety, and welfare of the public. The Department of Health is now reportedly in the process of setting up an official disciplinary hearing. She has 30 days to appeal her license suspension if she chooses. John, I understand it. I get it. But she hasn't been found guilty yet. They can make a decision like this nonetheless, you think?
They can. You see it, people hear about it in the law enforcement context where, there's a police involved shooting and they're suspended with pay, and then there's an administrative finding and they're restored. And it's kind of similar here. The Department of Health can make decisions if they feel like there's going to be imminent risk to the public. And this is not just child abuse, but child sexual abuse. And the hospital doesn't want to be sued, and administrators don't want to have to deal with this. And so there's a temporary suspension of privileges while it's formally set for a hearing. And then there's an appellate process after that. I've had a abusive pediatric dentist, suspended, and he never got his license back.
But she could get it back if the case is dropped or she's acquitted?
Absolutely. Or if she successfully convinces it gets into this whole Fifth Amendment thing, because you got to figure out which fight you want to fight. Because if you go to the administrative board and want to tell your story, that story will be used against you.
In the criminal case.
In the criminal case, statement against interest by a party opponent, either way, it would come in. And so justice is spelled one way to a victim. And again, this is not your typical victim, but it's defined many different ways. And, typically victims want to see criminal justice. They want to see administrative justice. They, sometimes file lawsuits when those are both insufficient. And so there's definitely prosecution and investigation going around on all sides here.
What a case. What a case. John Phillips, thanks so much for coming on. It was great seeing you.
Thank you. This one was,
These things are happening in our everyday life, you guys. It's which is why I brought it out there, because some of this stuff people wouldn't believe actually happens. And it's insane that it does. You know what I mean? Absolutely, full-heartedly insane that it does happen. The next scenario, hold on a minute here. I got to show you this too. 1 minute here. Hold on. Okay, so Gisela from Grizzly True Crime, guys. She's been very closely following the Stephen Stearns, Madeline Soto situation. I wanted to give you guys a little update on some of that stuff with that. Give me one moment here. There were some new calls from the jail from the trash monger that I call the piece of shit, Stephen Stearns. I believe they're with his parents, but we're just going to cut through this here quickly. I think this is all new stuff. So yeah. And again, like I said, guys, if you have not checked out Grizzly True Crime, please do. Gisela does an amazing job. She's absolutely amazing. She really is one of the best, in my opinion, out here with everything she covers. So that's the link to her channel. Please and thank you. Check her out. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell over there. You don't want to miss anything she puts out. She does amazing stuff. And please hit the like button over there if you will. Please and thank you. One moment here. Oh shoot. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know why I did this. There we go. Again, thank you, Gisela, for providing this so that we can see and hear this. Again, I just wanted to review this real quick, this part of it with you guys. Due to, we don't have many updates going on with this as of yet. We're going to cover this trial wholeheartedly when it comes down because I can't wait to see this piece of garbage burn. So, all right, here we go.
I thought we weren't going to hear from you till tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I could actually call right back after the 15 minutes was up.
He's talking to his dad, okay? His dad is Chris Stearns, his mom is Deborah Stearns. They've also been interviewed before on YouTube, and so you could find that. And we've listened to a lot of their jail calls already, and I hope more will be released over time.
Oh, I'm not walking, so it's just going to be you and me.
Okay, that's fine. You'd been asking me where the watch was, and I tried to quickly convey those instructions to you. Did you still need me to go over that with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So at the foot of my bed, there's a bunch of my, boxes from when I moved there.
Oh my word. This is why I think it's from last year still, because we got calls from May and June, and he's still going on about the freaking mouse droid and this watch that he wants his parents to find, which is a watch that he inherited when his grandpa died, I think it was, an Omega watch, clearly because he wants them to sell it so they have more money to give him. The speculation. But yes. Okay.
Yes.
On top of those boxes, there should be a green tin with kind of like a gold eagle on the top of it. It's like a Warhammer ammo box tin. The watch is either in there, or if it's not in there, it's going to be in one of the boxes at the foot of my bed. If you look inside, there's a Disney popcorn bucket in the shape of a Star Wars mouse droid. It's like a little silver box with wheels on it, basically, and a brown strap. It could be in there because I put some important stuff in there. I think my Social Security card and birth certificate might be in there as well. Did you get that?
Okay. So describe this Disney pin again.
It's a mouse droid popcorn bucket that's in one of the boxes at the foot of my bed. So it's like a little silver boxy looking droid with a brown strap on it. It's actually a popcorn bucket. But I use it to store some documents and stuff, and the watch might be in there if it's not in the green tin on top of the boxes.
It almost sounds like the calls could be from before the ones we heard. Remember, he was arrested already on February 28th of 2024. And the calls that we have heard so far, we're at the mercy of the district attorney's office. The jail doesn't release these without a subpoena. So it depends on the discovery, okay? It depends what is important to the case for the state. And then obviously the defense is also, they're all over these calls. That's why we're getting some of them. This one sounds a little bit like it could be from also around the time, May 2024. My goodness.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Some other things I wanted to ask. So you said that you went to the mental hospital. Whatever happened with...
I don't know what's happening. We don't know how to get a hold of anybody.
I see.
And supposedly has institutionalized himself. So.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. What you said that was what, to keep the cops off of her?
Supposedly on the advice of her attorney.
Oh, they're talking about Jennifer Soto right now. Okay. I want to play that back so you guys can hear that because I don't know how many of you have followed this case, but hey, Dan's in the house. What's going on? Danger time. Danger time. Me personally, and quite a few other people believe that Jennifer Soto had some form of involvement in this, for this to happen. Okay, the way it did, and I think he could be. I think his father's talking in code per se. It institutionalized itself, whatever. And he says to keep the cops off of her, supposedly. Like, catch on to that's kind of what they're talking about per se. For you guys that don't get it.
And supposedly has institutionalized itself. So
Yeah. Yeah, probably what you said, that was what, to keep the cops off of her?
supposedly on the advice of her attorney.
I see.
That is pure speculation. It was never proven that Jen Soto was actually in like a mental institution or something. It was just online speculation, which I think the parents watch a lot of YouTube. And even you'll hear in this call, which is only a 15-minute call, you will hear that they snark at these YouTubers. Still, they always do. But and they keep saying we don't watch, but you do watch. You do watch because you sure reference a lot of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was online speculation about Jen Soto being in a mental institute.
Did you guys ever get the Silver Lincoln back?
Oh no, we don't expect to see that until the trial.
Okay. And I assume no other belongings that were left that were able to be retrieved either, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, the police had the gun, so that can be released to me. Of course, the phone I let you use, so they said they would release that to me. So I got to see if I can get that.
Yeah, because obviously, I mean, I didn't even really use it, so.
By the way, the body camera, the camera in the sheriff's deputy's car that
That's why I put that video in the background. This is the video you see top right there is the video that his dad is now referencing. Like, by the way, that body cam, like, these freaking YouTubers, they're getting all the stuff, right? So, okay, let's just go back just a second here.
So they said they would release that to me. So I got to see if I can get that.
Yeah, because obviously, I mean, I didn't even really use it, so.
By the way, the body camera, the camera in the
In above, Walt.
sheriff's deputy's car that escorted you from Orange County to Osceola County, all that video and audio, somebody got a hold of, and it's out on the internet with YouTube.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so much more after that. Shame. Oh, shame. They thought they thought that's all the YouTubers would get hold of. No, everything, anything and everything that these freaking YouTubers, that's like me, right? Anything we could get hold of, we're going to get it. We're going to request it nonstop, right?
So these YouTubers, these amateur sleuths, who have now decided to make it their life's work to try to uncover the real Stephen Stearns, and of course they're drilling down, to the whole family. And
There's nothing to uncover. He's a piece of garbage, piece of shit, pig. What? Oh, good God. His dad's, well, now we see where he gets some of the mental insanity from.
making quite a circus of the whole thing. That entire video is on YouTube. The entire conversation you had with that deputy.
Okay.
Which was really not that interesting. It's on the playlist if you guys didn't ever see me react to that video. Almost said that crap. All that crap he was talking. Oh my word. He was like, yeah, I'm using like toilet roll as a pillow. He was complaining about all sorts of things as he usually does, right? Joanna Kimball, thank you for your $20.
He's a whiny bitch. That's all he is. That's all he ever has been. That's all he's ever going to be. He's a whiny bitch. Mama's boy, period. Okay? And that's what she's talking about, what the video she's talking about. Because he whines and cries and pisses and moans. In the back of this cruiser, he's crying. Oh, it's cold. My legs are cold. And this is that. And this is cold. And I'm not that. And I need to grow up. There's no manness, nothing man about this idiot at all. So.
Stick America, you said, "Hey, snarky YouTuber." That's me, isn't it? You said, "Thanks for all you do." Thank you so much.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we talked about music most of the time.
Yes. Oh, yeah. She used that. One of these people, Blunder or somebody, YouTuber.
Blunder.
Shame. He called her blunder. Shame, Mr. Stearns.
He's talking about Plunder, who's an amazing creator. She's a very sweet woman. She does amazing work. And this is what I'm talking about. There's no respect for anything. You know, if I see now where this comes from. And it's a damn shame because his father was a police officer at one time. What a damn shame.
Gotta get your. Is he gonna name us one day? It's probably the mom's gonna be like, that freaking grisly true crime or whatever. I don't know.
They can't. Gisella's very classy. She does amazing stuff with class. She's not anything like most YouTubers at all. Okay, she's better than I am by all means, aspects, and everything. I have a very high respect for her. So absolutely, that's why, again, guys, please, if you will, make sure you jump over and click the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss anything this lady puts out. She does amazing work.
Maybe not. Who knows?
Get information to dig up information about when your mom and I were at our issues 20, 30 years ago and brought that up. You know, her clickbait headline says, you know, $3,700 lawsuit, you know, some creditor suing you. So, you know, they're just taking everything and everything and trying to make.
Sorry, I'll go back so you can hear the whole sentence in its entirety here. Yeah, so here.
We've talked about music most of the time.
Yes. Oh, yeah. She used that. One of these people, Blunder or somebody, YouTuber, used that information to dig up information about when your mom and I were at our issues 20, 30 years ago and brought that up. You know, her clickbait headline says, you know, $3,700 lawsuit, you know, some creditor suing you. So, you know, they're just taking everything and everything and trying to make something of it when nothing exists. You know, but supposedly calling you a mama's boy and what have you. So it's quite a circus. I don't watch any of it. People just tell me about it. I don't bother with it because it's all bullshit.
Well, hey, I am a mama's boy anyway. I've never been ashamed of that.
Are you a baby boy, though? A maggot mouth, huh? A spineless parasite?
Yes, he is.
YouTube disclaimer. I'm just being sarcastic, okay? I'm not actually attacking the defendant. They don't like that. Don't snark.
Well, that's where I'm telling you she's got class. I don't care. I will attack him because he's garbage to me. So she's got more class than me.
Not too hard now, but okay. Interesting. It's like, yeah, she called you a mama's boy. It's like, I am a mama's boy. No, you're a baby boy.
Yeah. But I'm hoping that this conversation, obviously somebody in the county jail is selling this information. So I'm waiting to see if these conversations surface because as far as I know, this is supposed to be private.
I'm so sorry, sir, but they did surface. Here we are, and much later, May 2nd of 2025, here we are listening to this call. Yeah, so far we only have ones from May and June of 2024. I don't know the exact date of this one, but it's around the same time based on the conversation.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely,
Yep,
Sherry.
it surfaced, and no, the jail is not selling it. No, it's part of discovery. It's part of, the district attorney's files as they prepare for 2 trials for Stefan Stearns, who faces the death penalty if convicted. Like, this is a super serious case, obviously, involving the murder and sexual abuse for years, allegedly, of a 13-year-old girl. My goodness. Thank you so much, Monchichi.
Absolute horror.
The conversation, obviously, the jail can monitor it, but it's not supposed to be released to the public.
And there will be, supposedly a redacted version of my arrest report was leaked to the public as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not sure who's leaking all this stuff, or what sort of effect that has on all
Hey.
proceedings.
Sunshine State laws. It's not being leaked. It's public record.
The effect it has is it's given us all the truth about you and the piece of garbage that you are, sir. That's all.
Thanks to Florida's ultra.
I'll, I'll bet wisdom because she's awesome. If sometimes she gets you can only hold it so long with people like this. You know what I mean? You can be respectful as much as you can. At some extent, you have to remember what the hell he did and how bad of a scenario it was, and then it just goes. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Transparency, which we like a lot. We like it a lot, definitely compared to other states. Like I had previously requested all of Chandler Halderson's prison calls because I wanted to know if his girlfriend's still talking to him. That is not allowed. They do not release that from Wisconsin at all. They say that's not public record. You can't have anything of his, not even text messages, emails, or anything. In this case, I've repeatedly requested like email messages, text messages. I'm requesting things all the time. So does Grizzly Cat, right? Constantly trying to see what we can get for you, what we could study next in this horrifying case. Oh my goodness. Anyway, and so they haven't been able to yet release those emails and text messages. Maybe one day. At least though, in these Florida Sunshine State laws with this, we get lots and lots of things. We've got police video interviews, police audio interviews. There's like photo exhibits. There's so many documents that when you think, wait, I just want to check on that again. Oh my word, it's like thousands of pages you have to go through, search through just so you could use the search bar, obviously, but you still got to go through thousands of documents to find what you're looking for. Thank you so much, Christy Atkins. And Angela Frog says, hope he watches this awesome YouTuber and sees that I can't wait until he's silenced into irrelevancy. Yeah, just so that you guys know, normally when someone's convicted, then I'm not that interested.
This is a high-profile case, and so somebody in there is looking to make a buck.
Yeah, well, I imagine this probably taints the whole process. Well,
Yeah.
so who knows what's going to happen with that? But
No, Stearns, it's not changing the whole process. There's Wade Wilson, Sarah Boone. There's so many. I don't know. Let's not rattle off all of it. There's so many where we've seen so many of their files and heard their calls and all of that, right? No, you're not changing the process. You just so happen.
Okay.
that's in a black green box on the shelf above my desk.
I think we found that. Yeah.
You found that?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I just want to let you know that was found. I'm not totally sure where my family ring is.
I have it.
Oh, you have it. Okay, so you found it.
It was on the shelf.
It was on the shelf. Okay, I thought it might have been, but I wasn't super sure.
Yeah. What about the Rollies?
I've never had that. It was given to you, and I never had possession of it.
Well, your mother did something with it, but we have to figure out where she stuck it.
Yeah, unless it was sold while we were still in Summerport.
He's talking about a Rolex now. Really?
No, it was here at the house. It was here. Yeah, I mean, it was here. I'd seen it earlier. Well, I'd seen it in 2023. But doesn't matter.
I never had it.
So, so I finally got the commissary information. So,
there it is. Stefan Stearns' favorite words. Commissary. Yeah, let's talk about that. So how much you going to give me? He's so busy grifting off his parents. That's where the conversation always goes, right?
But they're in because he's always done it, and they've allowed him to do it. This guy is the age that he is now, has always lived with mommy and daddy, and excuse the phrase, but hung off of mommy's teeth at this age still. Mama's boy that he is, that he admits to. He's a baby boy, okay? Just like she called him. This is why I love her. And it's insane that at this age, there's no man in this man. There's no man. None. This dude's man card was never produced. Okay, everybody else was being run through the machines. It jammed and shredded his, and he never got one. There's no man in this person. He got in trouble for probably because the commissary he thought he was going to get for in exchange. What an idiot this guy is.
So we're about halfway through now. Somebody said before the live stream started that they guess he's going to talk about commissary within 5 minutes. I mean, he was already leaning towards, I found your wedding band. He means
that's all he cares about is commissary, period.
Get some more money in. Where's that watch? In the mouse droid? Find that, sell that. I need commissary money. Yeah, okay, so here we go with the commissary talk.
Oh, you need some boxer shorts?
Yeah, definitely. I've been going commando this entire time.
What size?
TMI. We didn't need to know that he's going commando this entire time. Ew. Stefan Gribi, yeah, what that says. Some boxer shorts, not necessary. He doesn't shower anyway, right? And Alicia said, stop whining, daddy. Baby boy didn't want his calls to be public. He should have left Maddie alone, right? And I mean, when the call started, it says it's recorded. So yeah, they should all know it's recorded and it's part of public record.
Large, extra large?
I think just large would probably do. I mean, whatever will fit up. 36 waist.
Do they have the ability to issue stuff?
I'm sorry?
Do they have the ability to wash this stuff?
Yeah, I believe they collect laundry and do washing like once a week or so.
See, he says, I believe that they do this because he doesn't know, because he refuses uniform changes. I recently made a video going over all his most recent jail records. If you didn't see it, go check it out. We literally went through his commissary records, where he ordered all of that, right? And so all of his activity logs as well, where he refuses getting clean uniform. No, thank you. Doesn't want showers, doesn't want clean uniform, gets a haircut once a year, maybe. All of that. So now he's like, yeah, I believe they do. Because the dad's like, do you have the ability to wash this stuff? I believe so. Yeah, you don't know because you don't want it.
I think from what I
so
I'm not sure. But,
you get you a couple pairs, and you need socks?
yeah, I'll probably need that. In the meantime, I was going to hold off on making any, like extraneous orders through commissary and whatnot until we find out more. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how long I'm going to be here, so I did want to mention to you that my first mandatory court appearance that cannot be waived will be at the end of this month, sometime between the 26th and 28th.
Supposedly, I thought it was the 24th of April.
See, I think that's, so this must be before the other calls we heard. The other calls we've heard before that the district.
I will almost guarantee it. Well, he is being held, I believe, Sherry, in segregation to an extreme, but he still does interact with certain other people from time to time. So there again.
The attorney's office had as part of discovery was from May and June of 2024. So this is before that. This is sounding like March, April 2024. Am I right? What do you think? Just a crazy Jen says extraneous hot pickles. Calm Sunshine says not bathing. Ew. Plus commando. Plus refried beans, spicy pickles. Ew. Oh no, all of that. Sardines, mackerel. Oh no.
Well, it could be then too. I got basically a rough estimate from one of the attorneys that is kind of associated with the case, but not really the main one. So yeah, it's going to be towards the end of this month. I guess before or after my birthday, probably. But
yeah.
Deep breaths, everyone. His birthday is on April 25th. So just before his birthday last year, huh? What? Yeah, this year on his birthday, we went over the records of what he did on his birthday. But just before it, on April 23rd, he was actually in court. There was a hearing that we watched together that's also on the playlist if you want to check that out. And if you don't want to check it out, then you could check out the summary of what that hearing was all about and what we're waiting.
Her family, because as far as we're concerned, we know that she's responsible. To what degree, we don't know, but I don't believe you killed her. So
that's good because,
Oh my word, the waster is like, that's good.
Now, I don't know if you guys are catching this. This is in regards to Jennifer Soto. Hold on here. Listen close.
Been quiet. I mean, I really wish they would drop the shoe on all of this stuff, attention and emphasis would be shifted to her family. Because as far as we're concerned, we know that she's responsible. To what degree, we don't know, but I don't believe you killed her. So
that's good because,
Oh my word, the waster is like, that's good. Yeah, believe that. Okay,
So based on what I just heard there, Chris, his father, is saying that they want the attention shifted to Jen and her family, who I believe he's saying he believes this was that, that she basically was responsible. In turn, now he said, I don't believe that you killed her. And Stearns goes along with it, in a sense, trying to state that maybe Jen did it, which is nuts to me. That looks good. The shoes feel good too.
Sure, feels a bit big, but
it should be loose on you. That looks good. You don't need to keep it buttoned up because you'll tear yourself up. Looks nice. Okay, great. Good stuff. Yeah, in a sense, he's basically stating right there, she did it. So, 100% in my opinion. This is going to be an insane trial. He is definitely, in my opinion, a coward. And again, I'm not trying to upset anybody, but these are facts, folks. With what this person did, he's not even human as far as I'm concerned. To do what he did for as long as he did, and then to try to turn around and say he didn't do anything, that's horrible to me. It is. Now, I'm not saying that Jen didn't have any involvement in this, but come on now, bud. Come on. Yeah, this is insane.
depressed out. You just have to, I get so angry with this guy. Like, shush, Stefan Stern. The way that he manipulates even his parents is just sick.
And that's what he's doing. Every call we ever heard with him is he's manipulating mom and dad through this whole thing, you guys, to keep them on his side, to keep them in his corner, that kind of stuff.
To hear, and the way he squeezes all the money he can out of them. Oh my word!
Exactly.
But remember, that's why I think this call is obviously. I'm just saying I think because I don't know the exact date, right? So it's before the ones we heard last time, and also before the parents, were interviewed on Hidden True Crime. Because on Hidden True Crime, they said they'd come to terms that he is the sole perpetrator. You know, he acted alone, and that they have come to terms that he did this. So that's different. That was a change. That was an update after hearing lots from him. And if this call is before the other ones we've heard before, May and June. Yeah, they uncovered so much more in those May and June calls as well, and later then made up their mind that they think that he did this alone, right? But anyway, so do you want to hear the tenders one more time? Here we go.
Perfect. That should last quite a while there. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that. So if we needed to ration the calls or anything like that, we could do it.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get into our personal lives conversations because I don't trust the system of keeping it confidential. So I want to keep this, as banal as possible. And
how have you
just keep it that
anyone
way.
been bothering you or anything?
No. It's been quiet. I mean, I really wish they would drop the shoe on and all of this stuff and tension and emphasis would be shifted to her family. Because as far as we're concerned, we know that she's responsible. To what degree we don't know, but I don't believe you killed her. So
that's good because it's one of the few people who do. But you know that I would never have wanted that for her.
Yeah.
And it broke me. It absolutely broke me.
So I think we believe her family is involved in this and cover up. So we'll just see how all this plays out.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Sure. They have in other calls also thrown Jen Soto.
So now Chris is putting it out there that he believes that her family, meaning probably her mom and her sister that we've seen and her brother and all her family's involved in this as a cover up. What?
Entire family under the bus, like Stefan Sturza's mother even said they need to get all those bitches and like question them and all of that. Oh my. Yeah, exactly. Mary, the captions got it wrong there. Shame. Banal, not banal. You are banal, Stearns. Exactly right. So sometimes there are a couple of little spelling errors in some of the accusation is that he groomed and sexually abused her for years based on the evidence found on his Google account. There's 1,700 pictures and or videos of him abusing Madeline Soto. Some include his face. Did you know that? It says it in the documents. There's one or two of them that will include they could see his.
That's how they proved it was him. That's why I have no problems convicting him in my mind in the court of public opinion, because there's visual photos of him, his face, and other parts of him on these videos and these pictures on his camera with Madeline as well. He's that stupid. That stupid that he did that, and there's proof. There is no innocent until proven guilty with this scenario. This is the only one of the only ones that I would ever look at this and say, yeah, we don't need to worry about that, because here it is.
Face. The rest, of course, oh no, they had to identify by a freckle on his you-know-what. And then he also talks in some of them. And he literally says, and trigger warning, I'm going to say something that has themes of grooming and sexual abuse, especially of a child, right? He literally, on one of the videos, according to the document, said they were watching cartoons, and they said that Stefan Stern said, you need to put my penis in your mouth. I'm going to count to 3. And if you don't, then you can't play with the phone. So they have that on record as well. I mean, so when he says, I would never have wanted that for her, you didn't want anything good for her. You treated her like an object. It's this freaking YouTube doesn't like that word. I think I've already said words. It doesn't like predator that wormed his way into the single mother's house. Not that I know we snark at Jen Soto too. I don't know if she'll ever be arrested or not for her role in it, for sending her daughter upstairs to sleep with her ex-boyfriend. That just will, I think, piss us all off for the rest of our lives, right? Anyway, but wow, for him to worm his way in there and then apparently abuse Madeline Soto from when she's like 8 years old. And then he's accused of murdering her. So all this crap he's saying, I don't believe any of it. Tomizawa said, what a freeloading POS. Stefan turned out.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, we think we can send you the Bible, but there's also a Bible that I can buy online. But let's see if we can get the Bible to you.
Okay.
And a good friend of mine who I will not mention,
Yeah, go ahead.
a good friend of mine whose name I won't mention, has been my spiritual mentor advisor since this all came down. Bought me a very nice Bible, so I'm doing Bible study every night, and we have our morning walks and talks. So.
Yep, and I've been reading the Bible that they've been giving me here, and praying for her, and I've been praying for you guys a lot too. I also wanted to mention that I know you guys get in fights a lot and kind of resent each other a lot of times, but I wanted just to tell you guys, be good to each other.
We don't resent each other. We have compassionate discussions.
That was maybe a poor choice of words, but I mean, I know you guys kind of get on each other's nerves every now and then, and I just
you get on everybody's nerves, Stefan Stearns. I think at some point we heard the tone of his dad's conversations change. I think he gets majorly on his dad's nerves. So he's like, yeah, I know you guys get on each other's nerves. Just be good to each other. Shut up. Like this guy, he's the problem. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, okay, just be nice to each other, right? Don't resent each other. No, they will maybe resent you one day. Maybe. I don't know if they will or not, but like, hello. You're the problem. Okay.
I think this has made us stronger. We're both joined with our faith, and we're supportive of one another. We talk about all of this periodically. I refuse to listen to any of the bullshit stuff that's out there. I always say, nobody watch mainstream media. I'll accept that, but not.
In the end, you guys listen. This is his son. Okay, great. I get it. But at some point, you got to realize, your son or not, there's something wrong with him. Okay, emotionally, mentally, whatever it is, there's something wrong. Okay, he did something wrong. And as I've always stated, even as much as I love my own children, I have 7 kids. I've told them all their whole life. Right from wrong. You were taught very well right from wrong. The things that you're supposed to do in life and not supposed to do. If you choose to make a choice, if you go and make a choice to commit a crime against another person or whatever it is, I'm not going to stand there and support you during that. As much as I love you, I will not support you. They know, my kids know that. I told them before that if they ever murdered somebody, I would turn them in. I'd be the first one to do it because it's the right thing to do. Okay. Now, if it, was extenuating circumstances, if it's self-defense, things like that, we would talk about that. But in a sense like that, that's what you do. Your own child or not. You cannot condone when your child do things, children do things like this and say, okay, well, I love you. You're my child. It's okay. No, it doesn't work that way in my mind, you guys. It just doesn't. You don't. Brian Laundrie's parents. This stuff. You got to figure it out in your own mind. This is wrong. I love you, but that's where it stops. At that point, I can't help you now. Sorry. That's just how I am. Some parents, I've seen a lot of parents in the criminal world that are like this. They support this. And it's like, no, you're condoning what he did in a sense, knowing that in your mind he did this. You can say what you want about her family. He did this. Accept it. Deal with it. Don't support him. He don't deserve that.
Nothing else.
Okay.
There's a lot of rumor mills out there.
Just be good to each other because you won't have me there to kind of be a buffer anymore. I'm not sure.
Well, try not to make that sound more than what it is, because it's not any more than that. We have our flare-ups and then we quickly move on.
Of course, I just want
but we've been very very supportive of one another, and we're just.
No, sir. Mr. Christopher Stern, don't engage in these conversations taking relationship advice from this guy. This guy, you want to take relationship?
That's an understatement, SRB. This goes beyond bottom feeder as far as I'm concerned.
Relationship advice from him? Don't even argue with him. Just end the call. Put the phone down. Whoops. Don't know what happened there. We got disconnected because whole video about that, as well as 2 YouTube shorts. So I hope that you'll watch it. And I'm not saying that to call you out. I'm saying it in case other people also missed it. Okay, we've been doing deep dives on this. So thank you so much. Yeah, I can't wait to read your comments about this.
So again, thank you, Grizzly, for that, or Gisela for that, for Grizzly True Crime again, because of the footage. I appreciate that very much. We wouldn't have it a lot of it. If it wasn't for her and Plunder, gone and get this stuff. I was getting it, but it just got to be a little expensive. So I just do want to make sure that everybody goes over, likes it over there for her. All the hard work she puts in, she really does. She really does, and she's got, like I said, she's got a lot of class, and I respect her in a lot of ways. So that is that scenario there, guys, and it's crazy to me. Crazy to me to hear the parents of this monster basically accepting it, and now they're trying to throw blame, all of the blame, on DeSoto and her family. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, you guys. All right, so on to the next segment here. Got some crazy stuff. Mama Bear, as always, likes to throw my direction. Give me 1 second. 1 minute here. Hold on. Bear with me. Trying to pull up a couple of these things here for you guys. Hold on. Come on, minute. Oh, once. Come on, load up. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Nope, wait a minute. Okay. Let's see what we got, y'all. Only in Ohio, folks. Only in Ohio. Never fails.
Yeah, it feels spiffy.
All right, here's the first one. Check this one out. Tennessee 911 caller said he was chased off a cliff by a bear and now he's accused of murder. Nicholas Wayne Hamlet, who was wanted for a parole violation, pretended to be a distressed hiker to hide his crime, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office said. Deputies are searching for a murder suspect who called Tennessee Emergency Services, posing as an injured hiker, sheriff said. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office shared a news release Friday, October 25th, asking the public's help locating 45-year-old Nick Wayne Hamlet. Authorities said the man is armed and dangerous and known to go by several aliases. Be safe, Tomboy. The manhunt began after detectives determined a dead body found in the Tellico Plains had a false identification connected to a man wanted in Alabama, the release said. Monroe County E911 Center received a transferred call about 11:34 p.m. on October 18th from a distressed hiker who identified himself as Brandon Andrade. Deputies asked the hiker told the dispatcher he had fallen off a cliff while running from a bear and landed partially in the water. And it shows here all the different faces. Search and rescue teams were sent out to a spot on the Cherahoola Skyway where the call had been pinged and found a dead man with Andrade's ID on his person. Sheriff's Office said, but after the body was taken to the Knox County Regional Forensic Center, detectives determined that the man was not Andrade. Detectives said the identification was stolen and used multiple times by Hamlet, including in a parole violation he has a warrant for in Alabama. Hamlet is believed to have used Andrade as a false name and made the injured hiker call himself, according to authorities. A warrant for first-degree murder has been issued for Hamlet, the sheriff's office said at this time. The deceased male has not been identified and is being referred to as John Doe. These people are insane. Insane. Very Florida of this, Ohio, and agreed, Dan. Agreed. These people are nuts. I'm telling you, they're nuts. All right. I got it. Oh, yeah. Hold on here. This one blows my mind. Look at this. Obviously, this man has too much time on his hands. Way too much. New York sex offender is suing over mustard and ketchup packet nutrition labeling. While awaiting sentence of 10 years to life, David Lettieri has filed 51 lawsuits since November, engaging in a pattern of abuse of the judicial process. He faces anywhere from 10 years to life in prison, and now that a jury in Buffalo has convicted him of enticement of a minor. But the convicted sex offender, currently in a Youngstown, Ohio, this is right down the road from me, mind you, okay? Literally like 10 minutes down the road from me. In Youngstown, Ohio prison, awaiting sentencing, has another issue that he wants the federal court to examine. The nutritional information on mustard and ketchup packets. This is what he's worried about. In separate lawsuits he filed recently in Ohio and New York, Lettieri, 36, complained that the ketchup and mustard packets he was given for his prison meals did not include sodium amounts or other nutritional information. And in a third lawsuit, the Brome County man said he couldn't tell from the packaging what spices are in a bag of whole shebang potato chips. The new lawsuit comes on top of dozens of other Lettieri has filed this summer, most of them in federal court in Buffalo, connected to his criminal case. He has filed 34 lawsuits since July, naming the FBI, prosecutors, his own defense lawyers, the New York State Police, the Department of Justice, and the Federal Marshal's Office, among others, as defendants. Bro. In all, Lettieri has filed 51 lawsuits in 2 states since November. 9 have been dismissed so far. In his mustard lawsuit, he accuses the mustard supplier of an unconscionable act by withholding information from a consumer. Because of being stuck in Northeast Ohio Correctional Center, it had made me unable to have substantial benefit from research, which the supplier knew because of supplying to a correctional facility, Lettieri said in his lawsuit. Because of no nutritional facts on the package, it is a form of deceptive acts that would be considered unlawful. While a few of his cases have proceeded beyond the paperwork he filed, he is trying the court's U.S. patience. U.S. District Judge Lawrence Villardo himself, sued 3 times by Lettieri, expressed frustration in an order he issued Tuesday seeking to rein in the lawsuits. It seems that soon as one reviewed and administratively closed, several more are filed. Villardo wrote, upon examining this court's docket, it is clear that David C. Lettieri has engaged in a pattern of abuse of the judicial process. Lettieri does not have a lawyer for his lawsuits. He fills out forms and then mails them to the courthouse to initiate the legal actions. He also files in forma pauperis, shortened to IFP in court filings. That means as a poor person, he doesn't have to prepay the 402 court filing costs for each lawsuit. Instead, the fee is to be paid to the court in installments by automatic deduction from his prison trust fund. But the prospects that his accumulating court fees will be paid seem unlikely. As of mid-August, he has 7 cents in his prison fund. His average account balance is $1,604 over the last 6 months, according to an August 8 document that Lettieri filed. In his order, Villardo said the inmates should be prohibited from filing any more cases without prepaying the filing and administrative fees or submitting a complete motion for leave to proceed in forma pauperis. That includes a certification of his inmate trust account and signed authorization. Villardo said that he will give Lettieri an opportunity to show why that restriction should not be imposed upon him. Villardo noted that the court has repeatedly warned Lettieri that if he continues to file complaints with insufficient IFP applications, he may be subject to sanctions. Whoa, wow. Hold on here. There's so many things in here. The Brome County, these are different suits that he's filed. The Brome County Humane Society killed his pet rat. Villardo did not give jurors proper instructions. U.S. Marshals did not allow him to bring his legal papers during a jail transfer. The University of Rochester employee who conducted a competency exam disregarded his major medical condition. Y'all, I can't get past the one that they killed his pet rat. Are you kidding me? And typically within these things, he asks for millions of dollars in damages for each of the lawsuits, you guys. This is insane. These people are nuts. They're literally nuts. Oh, my Lord. I'm only going to get a couple of those ones in today, you guys. And let me see here. I'm going to have to shorten this up a little bit because we've already been here 3.5 hours. So let me see here. And I will be back in here later on this afternoon. Yeah, he definitely needs to stop watching the Green Mile. That's hilarious. Oh my God. Hilarious. All right, hang on here. I'm looking. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go?
Take the jacket off till it's time to go.
One moment, y'all. Give me one sec. All right, let's get a couple laughs in before we get out of here for today. I didn't get to run a couple of the other segments, but that one was a little longer than it was supposed to be. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Bro is speed running his way to a new career or an early retirement.
Oh shit! What you do that for? Bruh.
The fucking eyes, dude.
When you decided to show off your top tier PC, more than one dad should do this. Computer ethics. Don't bring food or drink around the computer.
Can you move?
That was a free heart checkup. Next time, maybe double check the jack or bring a lucky charm.
Hey, bro, what's up? Yeah, I see you, bro. Hey, was you in that video, bro? Oh.
It's like a Band-Aid. At some point, you just got to rip it off.
Best funny April Fool's Day pranks.
That's great. What the hell are you doing, lady? Oh, no, no, no. What? Please tell me she really wasn't going to put it in the little circle back things back there. Those are sensors. Really?
What? I don't break it. Don't break it. So clamp it into my 280.
Great shot. Too bad the ball chose freedom over loyalty. When love pulls you down literally. Oops.
Whoops.
More than one dad should do this. She wanted strong legs, not a free flight.
And my head hit the wall. Boom.
Cartoon characters when they slip on a banana.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh, the bird. You just killed it. You just...
Well, at least now it's a convertible. Kinda.
There's not many cyclists today. There's a runner. Yeah, where's all the cyclists at? Oh! Oh my God!
Holy shit.
Confidence level.
That hurt. That's a big bird. What the hell is it doing?
Wait, was that part of the service?
What the hell?
A true art form.
Se subió aquí, fue y la tomó, no se cae esta píldora, ¿verdad? Pues dice que se subió aquí y que...
Lesson learned. Airplane buttons are not fidget toys.
Todos afirman contar. Todos tranco, afirman contar.
The tree. Bro, I can't carry this responsibility.
What? Oh, hell no.
He paid for one seat but got a VIP guest for free.
We're gonna go to CP. Let's go.
Seriously. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Mom told me to wear something.
Look at something. That's all I have left. Oh, she did it. That's nasty.
Because I'm confused.
Oh, God. The laugh?
Thank you so much. Oh my God.
Майкл Дуглас, Роберт Дювал в фильме «С меня хватит».
When your car decides to leave parts of itself behind for memories.
It counted.
Face meatball. Ball meat face.
Vamos a retar ahí.
Is her head okay?
Huh?
That chair is officially retired.
All right, y'all. That's gonna do it for today. Thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate you so very much. I hope you guys have a great day. Like I said, I should be in here a little bit later on. I hope to see you then. For those of you that will be here, for those of you not, I will see you tomorrow. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. And don't change a thing about yourselves, because you're the beautiful people. And you are who makes it happen, guys. Have a great one, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye, y'all.
Life's a journey, let's make every moment shine. Together we share, our hearts so intertwined. Each time you tune in, we're dancing in sync. With every story told, just let your soul think. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So hit that subscribe.